If you're like me, you play 5e on the weekends. Roll dice with friends, order pizza, the whole 9 yards. But maybe recently you've gotten a bit tired of it. Swords, axes, and the medieval look are cool and all, but it gets a little blah, right? How many fighters and rogues can you really play? You need a change. You need some science fiction. Dark Matter is a sci-fi campaign setting for 5e that sits on top of the core rules, so you don't have to learn a new system. It mashes up influences from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Star Wars, and Doom, with fantasy staples, so you can find yourself running away from space wizards or axe-wielding barbarians as you tear apart androids and aliens. And now, we're proud to introduce the Dark Matter Starter Kit, a standalone box set that includes everything you need to get playing. So what's inside? For starters, a brand new adventure, Conspiracy in the Stars, which is a cool neo-noir sort of thing. It's got a big two-sided battle map and tokens from characters and monsters. A bunch of tokens. A DM screen. I mean, look at this thing. Do I really have to say more? A load of pre-generated characters using some awesome new classes and, last but not least, an easy-to-learn set of standalone rules, which means you can pick this up even if you've never even played D&D. Oh, and some dice. Go to magehandpress.com and back the Kickstarter today.
Hello, and welcome back to LFM Network's Conspiracy in the Stars. I am joined by some wonderful friends, voice actors, internet performers, and a wonderful crowd of people, publishers as well. We've got a great group of people today, and they're playing some wonderful characters. Let's go around and say hello before we jump back into the finale of our sponsored game, Conspiracy in the Stars. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. All right, Justin, I didn't want to go to you yet. I wanted to go to Noir. We'll go to Justin after. Noir, how you doing, my buddy? Hope you're doing well.
How's it going? I'm doing all right.
Besides me pressing the wrong buttons, but besides that, we're doing
well. Nothing too major. I get to be Edward again, which is always a good time. Edward, who has a very interesting patron himself, which is a really cool concept.
What does it all mean?
I know, right? So many questions. I am a little sad that this is the last time I get to play Edward. But we'll make the best of it. 6 seasons in a movie.
That's right. 6 seasons in a movie. Hashtag 6 seasons in a movie.
Do it. Put it in the chat. But hi, I'm Noir. You can find me on all the socials as the Noir Enigma. That's on Twitter, on Twitch, on SoundCloud, and Instagram. I'm just Noir Enigma, because I'm an unorganized mess. And I'm also on LFM in another game, Degrees of Madness, where I'm playing with some pretty cool co-stars. So hey.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. It's coming soon. Thank you very much, buddy. Soon. Bree, how are you doing? How you feeling? How was your week? And who are you playing?
It was an interesting week, but I'm here and I get to play Soul, who is the lovely rogue jumper. I guess to jump through time and space. That's always great. So you can find me on Twitter at Burrito_, and I'm doing a lot of TTRPG stuff. I am also an affiliate with Swordsfall, and I am doing another campaign that releases in September with LFM, and you probably know what that is. So yeah, I'm excited.
Very excited.
But yeah, I'm excited to jump into this last episode. It's going to be sad, but I mean,
it's going to be great.
It is what
it's not going to be sad.
It is what it. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm super hyped. Super happy to have you back, and super excited to see Soul back in action. Did we talk about what class you were?
Yeah, jumper.
I don't know. I don't remember. Jumper. Yeah, the jumper rogue.
Specifically.
Yeah, super cool.
Rogue.
Bamfing around and stuff, and stabbing people with a void knife or dark matter dagger. What was it?
Antimatter.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. Anti. Yeah.
Anti. Whatever. Let's call the whole thing off. Renee, how are you doing? How was your week? How you feeling? And who are you playing?
So hi, I'm Renee Rhodes. I am on Twitter at RayDNR, which is like right above my name over there. And I do lots of stuff. I'm a writer primarily. I'm the community manager for LFM, and I post things. Try to share some encouragement and things in these dark times. Because it's hard. Life's hard right now. Let's just be real. So we have this game to take you away into another world for a little bit, which does have some stressors of its own, but also is in space. So, yeah. I play Rue. Rue is a void cleric. So that is a subclass that is particular to dark matter, which you can find from Mage Hand Press, who will talk next, I suppose. And then also they have their Kickstarter going on, which features the adventure we're playing today. So you can check that out at bit.ly/darkmatterset.
That's it. I almost said Dark Matter Kit. It's like we've done this already. It's like we restarted recording and I realized that we weren't recording sound. But it's like we've done this already. It's not though. It's like we've done it. It's not like we are actually doing it. Anyway, here's Justin. Justin from Mage Hand Press. How you doing, buddy? How you feeling?
Well, hi, yeah, we're definitely not, you know, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. We're definitely not in a time loop where we're stuck repeating the same things over and over again.
Nope.
At all.
Nope,
no.
Didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah, no, it's only Edward is doing weird time stuff. I'm the community manager of Mage Hand Press. I handle the business distribution, social media stuff for this cool company. And, you know, we make neat books like Taking People in Space. And, you know, speaking back to what Renee was talking about, you know, escape from this world for a little bit, let's just say our hashtag I wish I was in space was inspired by 2020.
Right, that'll be next. We just go to space. Right? It'll be that easy. We'll just cast spells in space. We don't need to worry about finding out how magic works. We just have magic and then do it in space. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, now we're in space.
Hey, and now we're in space. Exactly. Exactly. But welcome back, everybody. Good to have you here. Let's get back into it. The last time we left off, it was... where were we? Let me try to remember and set the scene, if I can, without screwing up anything. But I probably will. All right, so... we last left the heroes, the end of our second episode, in the streets by a terrorist organization that was disguised as security of Port Nomad. They were arguing and fighting about something. It may have been a routine quarrel between this new terrorist organization and the security, or it could very well have been a distraction. That would be up to you and up to our players as they figured out towards the end of the encounter that a giant four-wheeled vehicle careened through the streets, plowing through the rubble, the wreckage, and some of the security officers while it was being driven by Sir Helio Horus, the main security officer here in Port Nomad. This character is one that Sean has been tracking throughout the adventure and trying to pin something bad on him, but he can't quite seem to find it. This probably is the proof he needs, seeing that seeing this truck barrel through this altercation within the streets of Port Nomad. Everybody had seen and rolled a high enough on their perception checks that Sir Helio Horus was driving the vehicle, but not high enough to see who was in the front seat except for Rue. Rue had seen that in the front seat and passenger was I keep saying that, sir. It's Oren Talfo Gogglefogger, the professor that had hired this team to be security at the Stars Wheel event in episode 1. So, let's get back into it. I need everybody, top of this, to make a perception check.
All right, so natural 20.
Nice. Wait, hold on. Rue wants to say something.
The fish tacos.
Fish tacos?
Can't
I'll
see.
get you your cupcakes. I know you're hungry. Look, I'm sorry.
The little dude with the goggles.
Goggle fogger?
The professor, Gogglefog.
Oh,
Yes, he has goggle fogger.
Well, we need to go. And I'm assuming the perception check was to like find a way to pursue or something, or
Right, and what did we all get? Perception checks?
18 for Rue.
nat 20.
well, because
Dang.
I believe wholeheartedly in balance, I took the liberty of rolling a natural 1.
Thank you. Thank you for rolling the natural one for those of us who could not.
I do what I have to.
Take
right.
my natural ones. Take them.
All right, so I think we see Edward with these steaming black wisps of palm, like steaming the like black smoke steaming off of his palms as he's realizing last episode he figured out that he can do magic. Every warlock remembers their first Eldritch Blast, so it was very nice to see you thrive in the element which was destroying people using, I guess, your void shadow magic or something. Super cool. But either way, so you're distracted at the moment. What did you get, Rue and Soul?
18 for Rue.
I got a 15.
Nice. Okay, so we got a 19 and a 15. Is that what it was?
18.
15?
But yeah.
18, excuse me. 18 and 19. You all see, nearby, except for Edward, you all see looks like a delivery truck with, it looks like it's been ransacked, either probably by this terrorist organization or by someone else. It's hard to tell. But you can see within the boxes, some of them are open, some of them are not. There are hoverboards. Hold
I'm
on
already
to the
going. I'm
activated
already running
hoverboard.
towards the hoverboards.
All right, and you're already running.
Running. Just running.
So
All right.
as I run towards the hoverboards, I'm gonna grab Edward as he's distracted. Come on, magic hands.
Okay, 1 second.
Edward,
No,
stop
we
looking at
gotta
your
face that
hand.
truck.
Okay, we'll get the truck.
You see an eldritch blast fire through from Edward's palm into like a neon sign that goes as it then starts to smoke, and he destroys it, and he just laughs maniacally for a moment.
Okay, I'm sorry, Edward. Your hands are very cool.
Thank you.
Scary.
Why are we chasing Goggle Fogger again?
He's with the bad guy.
Good
We're
point.
Helio has him. He's kidnapped him. We gotta go after him.
Okay, call the cops is not an option. All right.
Yeah, when the cops are the ones
Oh.
kidnapping him, that's the problem.
Nope. That's okay. That's fair.
All right.
All
So how
right.
do you all want to pursue as you make your way over and you grab these hoverboards? Who here has been on a hoverboard before? Okay, so Sean, Edward, and Rue. Soul doesn't know. Okay,
Rue.
all right. Awesome.
I should know that when Edward was on the hoverboard the first time, he busted his whole shit. So that's his whole
All right.
experience with it.
You were the kid in middle school who had the cast that they had everybody sign because they did fall on the skateboard.
Pretty
It
much.
happened. It was like once a year. I feel like in middle school, be like, "Oh, you fall on a skateboard?" Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Rue,
Blast
Rue
from the
has
past.
been on a number of hoverboards, but probably usually like junkers, and the things that were like hand me down, found outside a house or in the trash. So this is like probably newer than anything she's been on before, but she's very excited. She would absolutely be doing tricks if she felt like she had time for that, but she's like pursuing in the same way that she was like chasing the squirrel in episode 1. So like
Yeah.
the chase is on, and this
Yeah.
hoverboard doesn't have time for handstands yet.
Yeah, it's one thing we know about Rue is like she definitely has this like primal nature to chase. So it's like when something runs off, we've seen Rue before. That's usually when Rue will snap into her like primal form to chase. She must. It's instinct, which is super cool. So
It's like she
and
plays a game
also
of
in
cat
this.
and mouse.
Almost like she plays a game of cat and throw. There is, you do notice immediately that these hoverboards are nicer and faster than you've probably ever been on before, Rue.
Yay.
So, how would you like to pursue the careening truck as you hear it whip around a turn nearby?
All right. So we need to cut them off. So I need two of you to go around and come up at front. We're gonna do a pincer. Me and someone else will come up from behind, and we'll get this shut down real quick.
I like to go fast. Soul, you're with me. We'll go walking from the front, and Edward's with you. Have fun with his hands. Bye. And Rue takes off.
All right, let's
Okay,
go. Let's go, Magic Hand.
All right, so you're going to be splitting up. I hear Soul and Rue are going to be going probably down a back alley. I'm thinking this one. And the main, the truck is this way, down this alleyway. And I think that I heard Edward and Sean are going to be just beelining after the truck.
Yes, yeah.
All right, I will need athletic checks from everybody. I'll give you this one, both Sean and Edward. You will be traveling through the bazaar. Remember the bazaar earlier in episode 1 I spoke about, probably in episode 2 as well, that there was a nearby trading bazaar that they've closed down this entire street right here for the market. And you will be trying your best to catch up with them through a busy market. Back in the alleyway, Rue and Soul, you will be trying your best to just gain as much speed as you can in this straightaway so you can try to cut off the truck itself. What is everyone's athletics rolls?
21 for Rue.
21.
15.
15.
Very surprisingly, Edward got a 19.
And a 19. Nice. Okay, so Sean, you and Soul, what did you get?
11.
And an 11. Okay. So I will start off with Sean and Edward. You both careen around the side of the of this. There's a street lamp here, and I think Sean grasps the street lamp and then kicks off of it using a lot of his body weight and probably the inertia of wrapping around using his hands to wrap around the street lamp for a moment and try to use a lot of that speed to catch up. And Edward, you follow suit surprisingly easily as you both kick around and make your way into the bazaar. Right, it's almost like you've done this before. Back in the alleyway, we see Rue kick off very quickly and deftly through the alleyway on this hoverboard as she looks back to a fumbling Soul. Soul, I think you take the board and you, like most skateboarders, they run for a second, drop and then step on it. You try to do the same thing and mimic exactly what Rue has done. But when you do, the board is much faster than you were expecting. It's kind of like jumping onto a moving treadmill. Right, so you jump onto it and it kicks out in front of you, and you land and you tumble for a moment as and probably into some rubble and some debris. I'm gonna need you to take 7 points of damage as you fail the athletics check. And
Do I
now,
see them fall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
So
you do see them fall.
I'll like loop back a little bit and be like, "Oh, sorry, I just took off. I do that sometimes. If you like try to balance your weight a little bit and like you can kind of lean to get it to turn, and it's gonna go real fast. But if you hold your balance, you should be good. You need a hand?"
Sure. And Soul reaches out and takes her hand.
Rue will help them back up. The board probably shot a little bit of a ways away, so Rue will just like hover over to it and kind of like go back and forth a little bit, waiting for Soul to come get on it.
Nice.
So Soul is gonna attempt the same thing, where they're just gonna like jump on it and try to go. So do I need to roll again for that?
Yeah, you can roll and have advantage this time because Rue is there helping.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't take off until you've
Got an 18, so we're good.
All right. And I think probably using the rubble around you, you kick off like a maybe like one of those the skaters who like kick up onto some like a street sign or a like a roadblock. You kind of do that. You kind of do like this drop-in thing off of some rubble as the rubble evens out and you catch up with speed with Rue. Back toward, I shouldn't say back, I should say further on, through the bazaar, both you, Edward, and Sean, you weaving through people and ducking through canopies as they fall behind in the wake of the chaos that is this truck in front of you. There is in front a square, like a meeting, an intersection of the roads, and on the other side of that is where we decided the security post was, or the security outpost. But the truck doesn't go that way. The truck actually takes a hard left at this point to go up and around this loop here. And as it does, I need you to both make a dexterity piloting, if you have it, check here. And
Hey,
for
I'm
those
good.
who are in the alleyway, Sol and Rue, you also have a sharp turn here that you need. Remember, you've gathered so much speed from this alleyway. That was the point of the alley, but now you have this sharp turn that you must prepare for. So go ahead and give me the same check if you can. Dexterity
Oh my gosh.
piloting.
22.
22.
So I rolled a 5 and I got a 15.
You rolled a 5 and you got a 15. All right.
Expertise. Oh yeah.
Very good at piloting.
Nice.
That is an 18 for Rue.
18, 21, 15,
And I got a 22.
a 22.
Hey,
Wow,
we
so
tied.
easily. All right, so for going back to it, the truck is about to careen into the security office, but instead it takes a hard left going up on two wheels as it heads towards this back loop as it makes its way around. Both Edward and Sean hightail it through. They ducked and weaved. They've also, like I said earlier, they duck through canvas as it's falling, and these rods and these people who are also trying to hoard their wares as they just go right by. I think for a moment we see, of course, people angry as their hair floats in the wind of both the speeding Edward and Sean create.
Edward is just
Soul.
laughing maniacally. Like, I'm awesome.
Quick question.
Yes?
Quick question, Myth.
Yes.
Since you mentioned that the truck ends up going up on two wheels like that,
Yes.
so I haven't been asking about firing at an armored truck yet because armor, but armored trucks usually aren't super protected on the bottom of them.
the
And I would
bottom.
love to take a shot when that opportunity raises itself.
Yes, you may do that. It'll be at disadvantage because you're going at breakneck speeds on a hoverboard.
That's fair.
All right, and while you're
And I
doing
have an
that,
extra attack now. Can I make 2 attacks or can I only make 1?
I'll let you make the second attack. Actually,
Sweet.
I will let you do the one attack.
Okay,
I do
fair
think-
enough. That's a 17.
17.
Mhm.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
And I am going to overcharge this shot.
Okay, 17 does hit.
All right. 16 damage.
16 damage. Okay. I think we see as you make it around this corner. How do you make this shot? So it goes up on the two wheels and it's going around this junction here as it makes its way up and around. I kind of just want to draw it. So it's going up and around this way, which you can barely see, but it's there.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change.
So as I see the truck launch up, I'm going to kind of jump with the hoverboard to kind of reposition myself pretty quickly, kind of almost drifting. And as I'm drifting, I kind of line up the shot and just.
Okay. And I think that's the noise it also makes as you fire, and also it responds with an explosive tire pop as you hear as one of the tires, or is it a gravity repulsor? It's hard to say, but one of the mechanisms on the side explodes as the thing does have a very hard time. The truck has a very hard time trying to stay control. So it does wobble for a moment as they try to regain control within the car itself. Sol, you and Rue both, how do you overcome this 90-degree angle? You both succeeded. Go ahead and narrate it. You wish. That's terrifying.
I am having so much fun. And at first, we're like going down the way, and I look back at Soul and say, "Hey, you got the hang of it. You're doing great." And then I turn forward and go, "Whoa!" and immediately just like veer into this turn. And I go kind of like up against the wall for a little bit and then back down and take off that direction.
Nice.
I think somehow Soul manages to put like a hand on the corner of this, intersection, and
Sweet
they
hand
kind
plant.
of, yeah, and they kind of go airborne a little bit, and
Yeah.
do that cool thing. I don't
Yeah.
know the name of it. And,
Hand plant, I think.
yes, and then they make a perfect landing, and they just keep going.
Nice.
And for once, they kind of smile a little bit to themselves because they're like,
Yeah. Awesome.
Looking back at them to make
Beautiful.
sure they're doing okay. And so when she sees that smile, she just gives them like a double thumbs up, and then also remembers that she's supposed to be looking where she's going, or else she might run into buildings again.
Right. So as you make your way towards this intersection, you do see that an explosion happens, and you see that the truck that you finally caught up with, one of the tires or gravitic repulsive things explodes off of the side of it as it tries to regain its control. It does, however, further down the street. But in this moment, you are all met up. You do meet up once again here at this intersection. I will need all of you to go ahead, and I assume you're all pressing onward, following the truck that is slowed down now.
Yep.
Okay. As you do, you see as it goes a little bit farther, it slows down a bit, and as it does, I think you all do in reaction because you don't want to run right into it. It slows down a bit, and just as you are getting ready to do whatever it is you do next, whether it is to fire your gun or get off the hoverboard or to check on this vehicle, it starts to pick up speed again. In full control, it seems to be showering sparks behind, and you also hear an electrical motor and also the repulsive panels of a speeder bike coming from behind you. For those of you who do look behind you, you are now being pursued by a combat hover bike with a sidecar with a blaster mounted to it. It is being piloted by Darkstar Kilagob, the halfling with the fedora back in the beginning, and is now being manned. The turret is being manned by Tiberius Vinter, the very famous half-orc bounty hunter that was supposed to keep Kenny Flopwig safe. If those of you who do not know, Kenny Flopwig was the assassin that fired upon, or that was went to advance towards the stage that Sean shot in the knee, episode 1. So,
Who, me?
I would like to try something.
yes, what would you like to try?
I would like to turn on my hover bike and head towards the
Hoverboard.
speeder bike.
Yeah.
Hoverboard and head
Yeah.
towards the speeder bikes. And is the truck still in my sight?
The truck is in your sight. It is going around this
Okay.
this loop here, so it's hard to see. It's about to be out of your sight within the next 6 seconds.
Okay.
And then,
All
but
right.
they are right behind you, probably
cool.
within
So
25
that-
feet.
That's exactly what I needed to hear. So you
Perfect.
guys just see Edward go, I don't know why, but I think this is a good idea. He
Oh no!
he rides his hoverboard like he's almost playing a game of chicken with the speeder bike. And then I would like to cast Thunderstep to teleport away from my hover bike and into the truck.
Okay, go ahead and make an intimidation or a performance as you try to play chicken with the driver.
Can I roll with disadvantage on the intimidation check, because the whole time he's just like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
Yeah, you totally can.
Okay, here we go.
See, now this is going to be weird. You can roll with disadvantage, and I'm going to give you inspiration. You don't have to use it for
Okay.
this roll, because
Okay.
that's really weird. But I'm going to give you inspiration for role playing that, so you can use it for further rolls. But you're taking disadvantage for this one.
He rolled a 13 on intimidation the whole time. He's just like crying, like,
Okay.
oh god, oh god, oh god.
All right. Okay. What is everybody else doing in this moment?
Right now I'm really confused up until the point that he teleports. I've got something I'll do after I see him disappear off the bike. But right now I'm just trying to follow the truck and kind of like keep looking back, like, what the?
Are you teleporting, Edward? Did I miss that?
Oh yeah, Thunderstep. So what he's doing is
Yes.
he
Okay. I was looking up
once he-
something. Okay.
Yeah, once he teleports away from the bike, because he was heading towards the speeder bikes, they're gonna take 3d10 damage, and he's going to teleport into the truck with Goggle Fogger.
Ah! Okay. All right. Wow. All right. That's so cool. Okay, let's do it. So, what did you roll? You rolled a disadvantage, and you got a 13 for the charisma check. So
Yep.
he's not going to stop. So he's going to continue. I got this. You see the dark fedora of the halfling Darkstar Killigob, and you see he's got these eyes of determination. And he sees for a second that you're going to play chicken. He kind of cracks a smile, and then floors it, making his way towards you. Is anybody else going to do anything at this time? You see Edward, and you don't know that he's going to do this, by the way. You don't know he's about to thunderstep, but Edward is going full speed into a this very well armored and combat equipped speeder bike.
This kid gets some magic hands. What he gon'? It's nice knowing him.
Does the board just like keep going?
He hasn't done it yet. He's about to. This is about to happen.
Oh,
So these are the moments before. I just want to know what everybody's doing while they see Edward just go straight into.
I mean,
Nervous,
I'm not really looking for Edward. I'm still trying
Okay.
to come up in front of this truck.
Yeah.
So I'm very
Yeah,
focused
that's
on
fair.
what I'm doing. Sorry, Edward. Good luck.
How far is it's thunderstep? Is that what's happening?
Yeah,
How far is that
So-
range?
that is 90 feet.
90? All right, you can do that. All right, cool. So what are you doing in this moment?
Actually, I have a question.
have an answer.
Is the truck controlled by some kind of computer or some sort of database, or is the bike controlled by a supercomputer or anything?
All vehicles do have computing devices. Whether or not it runs completely off of that, it's hard to say without having to do without taking time to interface with it and see what it actually can do. But there is a computer inside. Whether or not it has controls over the maneuverability is beyond you.
Okay, so I'm gonna speed up a little bit next to the truck, on the driver's side.
Yes.
And I actually have the ability now to speak to computers and certain interfaces. So I'm going to try to communicate with this truck to self-destruct if it can, or to kind of shut down. Because I mean, we don't want the professor getting hurt. So I'm going to try that.
Okay. I love this. I'm about to throw this everywhere. I love it. I love it. I love it when this happens.
We go hard in the paint.
No, it's great. I have there's a really cool list and set of events in the story for this chase. But this is awesome. Keep going. This is great. Do it.
I got a 21.
Okay, so you've got a 21. This is going to be charisma based. Did you add charisma modifiers?
Oh.
And then you can check out how the chase is supposed to go when you get your copy of Conspiracy
Right, exactly.
Stars from the Dark
Yes.
Matter Starter Kit.
Yes,
Kickstarter.
That's right.
There it is.
I will. I
So-
do want to let everybody know that I have tailored a lot of this adventure to fit in 3 episodes and in our time. So there's a lot in the story and in the adventure that we haven't even seen. So there's tons of side quests and really cool things about Port Nomad that we didn't even touch upon, and that we may not ever see in this series. So go on. What were you saying, Sol?
So adding my charisma modifier to that, it'd be a
Yes.
23.
23 to convince one of the vehicles. Which one, the truck or the bike?
The truck is more important right now.
Yeah. Okay.
to me, at least.
Yeah, I think you hear the truck in its binary, like, computer speak.
Yes, I will comply.
That actually, you know what? It'll say yes, and I'll start to comply. And now let's swap back over to Edward. So Edward, you're now careening right towards the. Sean, did you want to do anything before this?
I just kind of
About to
like
get real.
gave up on. Yeah, I've got something for right after he disappears.
Okay. So these two vehicles careen towards each other. Like I said, Dark Star he's glaring over the steering wheel or over through the handlebars, and he looks up, he cracks a smile as you are just flailing wildly on your hoverboard, making your way towards him. And then you thunderstep out of there and trying to remember moments ago the interior and what it looked like within the truck back over when this chase first started. And you close your eyes for a moment. Go ahead and roll that damage.
That's 26 damage.
26 damage to the bike. Okay.
To anything 10 feet, that was in 10 feet of him, so yeah.
Owie.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god! Whoa!
Okay, so they take a blast of 26 damage.
They have to make a Constitution check. Save.
Okay.
Constitution save.
Okay, well, that was bad.
I believe it is save for half. Yep.
Well, neither of them made it, so they're making so they're getting that full. And the
sound of thunder
speeder-
can be heard from 100 feet away.
Nice. So everybody hears a as it echoes. You hear also, you start to see some glass within the storefronts nearby, and some of the neon signs start to wobble and ripple as this thunder wave happens within the streets of Port Nomad. For a moment, you all close your eyes and you shudder at the sound, and you see that in a flash of light, Edward disappears. Edward, you open your eyes inside the interior of the truck. In front of you is Sir Helios driving frantically, trying to keep control of this. And next to you, I need you to make a perception check. Everybody behind and who's watching the events where Edward disappeared, you now see the speeder bike starts to scrape along the ground, sparks flying up in its wake as it starts to careen into a nearby storefront. It looks like it's been powered down for now, as both Darkstar, Killagob, and Tiberius Vinter panic. Tiberius keeps his cool, though, and tries to fire back at you while this is happening, unaware of the wreckage that is about to ensue. What is your armor class, Rue?
I would say, well, because it's different depending on if I had my shield out. I did run straight from battle to this.
You'd probably still have it out. This is still like in the same scene-ish.
Yeah. Then if it's still out, then 16.
Okay, I do hit
Okay.
with a 19.
That's fine. I can handle it.
I have to see what the damage is. It's actually 26. Okay, with a heavy blaster. Yikes.
Fun.
Grab all these D12s.
And this is coming from where again?
This is coming from Tiberius. He's on a turret, and he's got like a heavy blaster.
What? Ew.
Yeah, he is a butt. This looks like 22 damage as an energy pulse fires through the streets and lands into your side. knocking you off of the hover bike, and I think you tumble. And a lot of the damage comes from or a good majority of the damage comes from the blast itself. But as you tumble, I think you take the rest of that 26 damage. Or I'm sorry, 22 damage.
Yeah.
Awesome. Go on.
No, I'm just gonna duck into my role as much as possible and try to come up feeling bruised, but maybe sort of cat lands on her feet kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. Maybe you do take like a lot of damage, and then you kind of maybe stop on all fours for a moment as you kind of.
Can I get that one more time, please?
Standing on end.
Okay, thank you. Also, my perception check, I rolled a natural 20.
Natural 20. Wow. Okay. Amazing. This is
I
nuts.
turned
All right,
it
so,
around for your old boy Eddie.
yeah. I think when you appear right behind, not Sir Helios, but you appear right behind the front seat. So you're right behind passenger, which is Professor Orentalfo Gogglefogger. In this moment, though, you do see a shimmer happen within the image of Professor Orentalfo Gogglefogger. And you've seen this happen before, and when you see this shimmer, it kind of takes you back to announcements or meetings, pre-meal meetings for your bar, where the manager would come out and then talk with a holographic image of the owner of the bar, as they would talk and go over their pre-meal, their pre-meeting, and talk about the day's specials and all of that. And this immediately triggers this is a hologram of the professor.
He doesn't even need to say it. When he says it in the backseat, like, this shit ain't even real.
Right, and I think at that point, Helios turns his beaked head and goes, What is going on? And then I think he goes and tries to grab, and he fumbles for a moment for his sword. Or maybe, does he have a pistol? I think he's got a pistol. Yeah, pistol if he has it. I don't want to do this. All of my papers! Yeah, he's going to. Is a repeater one-handed or two-handed, Justin?
A repeater's a one-handed blaster.
Yeah, all right. So he grabs he goes and he tries to fumble for his repeater in this moment. He's going to. You all see, if you look back at the truck, you see that it's now way out of control. He was having a hard time controlling it before, but now it's swerving all over the road as it makes its way down this. What are you doing, Sean? I know you want to do something after Edward did this.
Okay, so well, plans change based on what's happened.
One more thing. One more thing right before this happens. Edward, you also notice at the front console, I think as soon as you go, this shit isn't real. The front console, there's also a red flashing countdown from 60 seconds starts to happen. So, and Helios starts to freak out at you, and then he starts to freak out in the console, and then that's why he's all over the road. Back to you, Justin. Sorry about that.
No worries. Now that the truck is careening wildly, and the motorcycle is in fact downed, and they'll be out of range soon enough, I'm going to. I would like to use my grappling hook again to try and grapple onto the truck and climb up top.
Okay. Give me athletics. What do we do? Acrobatics? What do we roll that as before? Give me that roll again.
Okay, so I got. We'll do athletics. I feel like it'd be hard to push acrobatics at the moment with everything going on, but I got an 18.
Okay. As we've seen before, you twist the handle of this, and the spikes fly out as the magnetic repulsor, the magnetic panels start as you throw it, and sticks right to the side of this vessel. So now you are pretty much water skiing or wakeboarding, hover wakeboarding on the back of this thing. You will have to take some disadvantage to your acrobatics roll because this thing is careening wildly through the streets right now.
Okay.
And is there anything anybody would like to do? Sol or Rue? Rue, how are you feeling after your shot there?
little beaten, a little bruised, not quite bloodied. But how far off am I? Did the board just keep going way out of my?
The board's probably about 10 or 15 feet from you.
Okay. And so, how far have I gotten knocked off? Like, how far have people gotten in the 6 seconds that I've been down?
Soul is near you. Sean is also near you, but he is about to be farther away, considering he is just attached a grappling hook onto the side of this, and Edward has disappeared.
Now, she was very focused on catching up, whereas I was far more distracted with what Edward was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be reasonable to say that by the time that I grappled, I was she might have still been a little bit ahead of me at the time, and like I would be passing
She did fall
her.
off. She fell off.
She fell off.
Yeah.
Well, I know she fell off, but like this is like she fell off as he disappeared and I grappled. So I think only like seconds have passed, and I imagine she would have been a bit ahead of me. I'm wondering if maybe I could make a acrobatics or a dexterity check to grab her and put her on my hoverboard.
We'll try that here in a second.
Oh, like,
Rue, what were
pass?
you? Yeah. Rue, what would you like to do before this moment happens?
Well,
Anything?
Yeah, I am mad. How far is Tiberius in his little
Tiberius.
big little weapon?
Yeah, that big little weapon. He is. They're careening right now toward a storefront. They haven't crashed into it yet. Next round, they will.
Okay.
This is all in that split second where like time sort of stopped for a moment.
There's that brief moment where Rue like aims. She has like a weapon on her wrist that she raises with her kind of behind her, and then she kind of sees this trajectory and just goes, "Gosh darn it!" and then starts just kind of like running towards her hoverboard.
Okay. All right, and Sean, why don't you go ahead and make that dex save, as you want to grab.
Oh. So as I start to reach out, I call on my comms to Rue. All right, reach out your hand, and that is a 17 dex save.
Okay, disadvantage?
Disadvantage? Okay.
Yep.
I rolled higher, so 17 still.
Okay, all right, so awesome. You go ahead and you... Rue, do you grab as well? Are you reaching out? Because you're going to need to do a dex save here as well. Soul, what are you doing in this time?
So as soon as they saw Rue get attacked, they're going to telestep behind Tiberius, and they're going to take out their antimatter dagger. And like their cyborg eye has gone red, and they're going to actually stab him in the back.
Okay, awesome. All right, so give us that roll, and we'll go back to Rue for a second. I'm sorry, we're jumping back and forth because
You're good.
I'm like crazy mind.
You're jumping back and forth like a rogue jumper. It's fine.
Exactly.
I just
a rogue
see Edward
jumper.
in the backseat of his Soul. He's like, "Oh, hey, Soul."
This would have been way easier with initiative, but I didn't think we were going to have to go into this. But it's awesome. I'm really liking what's happening. So, Rue,
Yeah.
are you reaching out your hand to grab?
When I see it happening, I will react.
Yes.
It's a little half-hearted though, because she's very reluctant to leave behind her
Yeah.
very shiny hoverboard.
Okay. So go ahead and give me an acrobatics.
There's the yearning to chase.
Give me athletics. Give me athletics, because being grabbed by your hand takes a lot of strength to not work.
Can I roll
So, yeah.
a disadvantage? Because I've already rolled a disadvantage. Because I don't think her heart. is
Yeah. You can roll a disadvantage, and I'll give you
That's a 13.
inspiration. A 13. All right. So a hand passes by, and it just fingertips just brush, but we do not see you get picked up by Sean. Sean, you continue down, careening in this like chaotic wakeboarding experience, and Bree, Soul has just telestepped over toward Vinter on the speeder bike.
Oh yeah. Actually, no,
So now
Tiberius.
Yeah, so the speeder bike, Tiberius is in like the sidecar, firing, and Darkstar, the halfling, is driving. So you're gonna hop on as the third passenger on the bike. This deactivated bike as it starts to slide into a storefront. Okay, and you want to stab Tiberius.
Yep.
Cool.
And to do that, I got a dirty 20.
Hell yeah!
Nice. Yeah, that totally hits. That totally hits.
So, he takes.
So, if you don't mind me saying real quick, I think this is a sneak attack because he's kind of engaged with me, right?
He's actually
You're correct.
And also, they appeared right behind him.
Yeah,
Very
that's totally a
much.
sneak attack. Yeah. Just lay it on me, Rogue.
Sorry to interrupt, so I just thought we needed to do that.
I don't make the
I don't
rules.
make-
Yeah, Justin. Yeah, awesome.
16 necrotic damage.
16 necrotic damage.
Yeah.
And that's total with all of your
Yes.
sneak attack?
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, so nice. So you like reach around him and then stab him in the chest?
No, I
You
just
stood
stabbed
behind
in the
him.
back. Like
Right
in the
back,
chest
okay.
area, in the back, yeah.
But in the back.
You stabbed
Okay,
him.
right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
God,
Sick.
that's some Terminator shit.
That's
They got
sick.
mad.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So Soul appears behind, and I think he kind of like doesn't. I think he could be still focused. He just let out this shot, and as he reels back in pain, and he looks back to see you as you've got this like dark energy dagger in his back. And it's like it's probably the most painful screech you have ever heard from a half-orc, as antimatter is seeping into his bloodstream and necrotic energy is deteriorating his armor and flesh. Sick. Okay. Now the next round happens where they careen into the storefront. So, that being said, I will need you to make a quick dexterity saving throw. Soul.
Okay. Saving throws. There we go. A dirty 20. Oh my gosh.
30-20. Easily done. You want to narrate how you evade getting any damage of this? Actually, probably half damage. Let's do that. Okay, it was only 2.
yeah.
You take 2 damage. That was the worst.
Damage. Okay, so I think as
Roll 2
I.
1s on 2 d12s.
Ooh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I take out the dagger, of course, and I put it back in my thigh, not even bothering to clean it up, whatever. And I just gracefully kind of jump off of this thing, but my foot kind of catches on like the corner of something, and it snags a little bit and pulls some wire, so that's probably like the 2 damage. And
Right.
I land on the street, and like sparks are kind of flying up from my cyborg foot, but I catch myself and I just take a minute.
Okay. Awesome.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And then in this moment, the truck careens around the corner. On the back of the truck is Sean. Or I'm sorry, with a grappling hook riding it is Sean on a hoverboard. Sean, I need you to make me an acrobatics check.
Okay.
And then tell me what you're going to do.
Disadvantage.
With disadvantage.
Okay. So that would have been a nat 20, but it's not.
Oh no.
It is instead a let's hear, 8 plus 7 is 15.
Okay, 15 is still not bad. All right, so you're able to keep stable and stabilize your the tension and your ride here. What would you like to do in this moment? Rue, you are going to be next.
I'm gonna start, pulling myself closer as because I want to get on that truck.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead and roll a... What's your speed?
My speed's 30,
Go ahead and roll a
and
strength
I
check.
do have the and athletics or strength.
Athletics.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Yeah, okay. You're able to move 10 feet, and there's about 5 feet left for you to get onto this.
So at level 4, when we leveled up, I took the athlete feat, which makes the climbing not cost extra movement if you want to factor that into how close I get.
Okay, this round you can get to the bumper. How about that? I'll shave off the last 5 in this round.
Ooh.
Sweet. And Rue, you're up. So the speeder bike just slid into a storefront. Glass shoots out everywhere. Some neon lights as well. Glass panels fall to the ground, much like the movie we saw. And the glass panels fall to the ground. There is debris just scattered into the wreckage here. And you see Soul kind of limp running out of there with a dagger in their hand.
Soul is okay, and that is the most important thing to me. I have
Badass.
swerved as soon as Sean passed by the fingertips, and I redirected towards the hovercraft that got a little further ahead of me. So I'm hopping back on my hoverboard, and if Soul is okay, I'm continuing after the truck because I am mid-chase, and that nuisance, that Tiberius person, pain in my butt, but no more than like a flea.
Right.
Really.
Right.
A very painful, almost half my health flea. Onward.
Nice. Okay, so you're pressing onward. Are you grabbing the hoverboard? I may have missed that.
Oh yeah, hopping back on the hoverboard.
Hopping back on the hoverboard like a pro skater. All right, sweet. And Edward, so now you are in the front seat. Time is going to go a little bit quicker here just because of narrative and also our time. So go ahead. And what do you do while you are in the front seat here? As
So I'm noticing that
Helios
the computer,
fumbles. Yep.
I'm noticing that the computer is basically it has a bomb like thing about to go off. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I have a cantrip called Manipulate Clockwork that says I can affect a minor change in a small or smaller clockwork item within range that I can see. I would like to make the self-destruct clock just go like all the way to 1 and hold it there. And then I would like to say something to Tiberius. I mean to the driver.
Okay. All right. So I think as do you have to cast anything? Do you have to roll anything for this casting?
It's an action to cast it.
Okay.
So
That's it?
So yeah, that's it.
All right.
It's verbal.
It's just a cantrip.
So,
That's sick. Okay, so you can. All right. Wow. Okay. So yeah, he's fumbling for the gun. He looks at you, and then like we heard, it's. And then he looks down.
when
and he sees that it's just flipping through down to 1.
Edward is going to say, "I wouldn't do that because your gun goes bang bang. My gun," and then the clock goes.
It's confidence out of
and
it.
it's at 1. Goes how?
Go ahead and make an intimidate. Hell yeah.
And I would also like to, let's see, can I do this? I want to, you gain, okay, I'm going to use my Pact of the Hourglass to roll this at advantage. And what Edward's going to hear in his head is, Edward confidently threatened the man, and things went well. So...
Edward confidently threatened the man, and things went well.
There you go. And that's a 16 plus 7.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I think he goes, all right, okay, sorry. And he puts his hands, he puts his winged hand up in the air, and he, all right, okay, what do you have? You are much more powerful than I thought.
me too, man.
And he doesn't, and he's like, he's driving with one hand, still trying to keep control, but he's kind of waiting for your mark, as of like what to do. What do you want from me then? What?
Keep driving and tell me where's Gogglefogger.
He's not with me. He's with, they got him. Carmen's got him.
Thank you. Like, that's my turn.
Okay. All right, that's your turn. All right. That was awesome. Okay.
I knew it. I knew it.
All right, so it is back to the top of the order. New round, as the truck makes its way a little bit more towards the starport here. I will need everybody, as you're all making your way making your various ways towards either the front of the vessel. Sean, you will be next when you describe what you're doing once you've reached the bumper, as you ride it for this last turn, as it makes its way to a stop in front of the port. And everybody's making a perception check. Is that what I said? Okay, let's do that. I forgot what I said, because I'm in the middle of a narrative.
All right, let's. Okay,
12.
well, things weren't going well.
12. Okay.
Perception, I got a whole ass 4.
A whole ass 4. Okay, you don't see it.
I got a
You
6.
got it. Sean with a 12.
Yeah.
Saul? What did you get?
I also got a whole ass 4.
A whole ass 4.
Keep
2 whole
winning
ass
it
4.
up.
4.
2 whole ass 4s. A 6 and a 12.
Pursuing my prey. That's all I'm focused on. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so you all notice that Sean has made his way to the top, or at least to the side of this vessel, or the vehicle. Sean, what are you going to do in this moment?
All right. So, now did you say the truck stopped like basically as I got on it?
It's slowing down to a stop. Yes. You do see a silhouette of 2 people in the front of this, or through the back windshield. You do see a silhouette of 2 people, and also a silhouette of 2 people, and the third person is the illuminated back of Oren Talfo Gogglefogger. And it looks like there's some sort of dispute happening in the car, and that's also slowing down the vehicle.
Okay, so would I be able to bound over the truck and kind of like get onto the windshield with gun pulled out, pointed at Sir Helio Horus as I ride the top of the vehicle?
Yeah. So you want to climb onto the top and then like do a crazy somersault flippy do onto the hood, like the Matrix, and then.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Go ahead and give me an athletics or acrobatics, whatever you want here.
I'll do acrobatics. And that is, okay, so 19, yeah.
Yeah, sweet. You do that. You do just that. Is there anything else you'd like to do in this moment?
So, I mean, he's already stopping the truck. Now that I'm like pointing on the hood, pointing my gun at Hilo, do I see Edward and hologram Gogglefogger?
You do see Gogglefogger, and he does shimmer, and you do see Edward in the front, and Edward does look confident. He's got his hand in the air for some reason, and he is there. Like I said, there is also a dispute happening as Helios is trying to figure out what's going on. And I think when you climb up over the top with this very acrobatic vault, and you like slide down the hood with your gun out, drawing into the windshield, just like that. I do think that is what stops the vehicle. It's been slowing down, and then he slams on the brakes and I'm going to need you to make another acrobatics to hold on, or athletics to hold on here.
Or then I'm going to
Athletics,
catch up
okay.
as possible because I just
That's
put
a
everything into pursuit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right after
16.
16. All right, yeah. So you hold on just barely as this vehicle stops. I will have Sol and Rue go. Rue, you are going to probably double your speed essentially to catch up.
Yeah, that's what I did last turn. Was just go all out. So
Okay. You want to catch up as well again here.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you totally can, because like I said, the vehicle is slowing down and going to a stop here, so you can easily catch up with the
I'll go
current
to the
speed that you're
other
doing.
side of Sean though. Like if he's on the driver's side, then I'll go to the
You're
passenger.
gonna start to surround the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you doing? You see your friends make their way up to the vehicle. What do you do in this moment?
I think I'm gonna telestep inside because I can do it the amount of my proficiency bonus, which is +2. So I'm gonna go ahead and go inside. And
So you also just
if Edward's in there, if Edward is in there, I'm gonna help him out.
Hell yes. All right. Sick. All right, so let's go out of the combat order, even though we didn't really have a combat order, but this combat sort of slows down to a bit of a scene as next to you, Edward, is Sol. As Sol flickers in front on the windshield, you now see a clattering as Sean has slid down the windshield with his gun aimed right at Helios. And you look to your right and you see that Rue has also made their way towards the passenger side as well. I assume with the wrist crossbow out? Rue? Yeah, awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
Now that it's
Just gonna-
stopped.
Okay.
Edward's
Now
just gonna
that,
tell
now
him.
that it's,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I pulled a note that I collected from the dead body and just slid the window. Yeah. Why the hell should I not put this bullet between your eyes right now?
I don't know what you're talking about. As you hear inside through the windshield, and that is
And
and
he
I think as
sees
you
me
go
just
ahead-
like pull the hammer back.
yeah, intimidation check.
You want to cut the bullshit? Yeah, all right, intimidation.
with advantage.
With advantage.
Rue is very
Yeah.
helpful by on the other
And
side
that's
of
a
the
nat
car,
20.
putting her hands to the window and saying, "Googly eyes."
I think at this point you
Goggle
see that
Funk is not here, and also the car's a bomb, everybody!
the car's gonna blow up.
So,
I said Goggle Funk is...
So Sol's gonna speak up, and they're gonna say, "It's not a bomb. I commanded it to shut down."
Oh, that was you.
Yes.
That's nice.
And then
I'll get
and then they're gonna walk up to Helios, and they're going to take the dagger, the still bloody dagger, and they're going to hold it up to his neck, and they're just gonna stand there. They're not gonna say anything.
This is in the car still,
Yeah.
right? So you're probably reaching around the car seat with the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I think that's when he then loosens a bit. What was that intimidation check, Sean?
It was a nat 20.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. So at this point, he kind of melts. I mean, he is okay, all right. His neck stiffens up, and his head probably the plumage of the feathers start to just graze the ceiling of the vehicle as he stiffens up as the blade starts to press into his white feathers. Okay, all right. What do you need? What do you need? Just don't kill me. Don't kill me.
Where is Gogglefogger?
Gogglefogger's probably long gone at this point. They made their way off to the secret base.
All right,
That's
so
not what
let's
you told
let's start
me.
talking locations.
Oh yeah, well, okay. It's gonna be the Magna
Lead the
cluster.
goddamn way.
Okay, all right, okay. Can I get out of the car, please?
burger.
No, you're gonna drive us.
Drive us to
You want me to
Turkey
drive
Burger.
this? I can't drive this.
You seem to be doing just fine earlier.
Do you have
May
a
I-
spaceship? I don't have one.
May I suggest we take another vehicle? This one has a lot of damage.
Well,
No,
fair
I don't
enough.
think we can
Well,
take
good
this
thing
one.
we
It's
have a
just a
police
tap.
officer that can commandeer a vehicle.
Everyone, I just have a question. We have this like really well in hand, and he like points to like everybody aiming at him, and he goes, "What about the speeder boys? Are they taken care of? I missed that."
They crashed.
Right.
Oh, okay, they're taken care of. Cool. Can we take their bikes?
We probably don't want to loop back to the people with the mounted Gatling gun.
I thought they crashed.
I also believe
Yeah,
the bikes are damaged as well.
Ah, poop.
So I still have my hoverboard. I know Sean still has his hoverboard.
I have
The other
my
two are
hoverboard.
just lost to the wind, huh? You do?
Yeah, it teleports me.
If Goggle Fogger's ship, that should still be in the bay.
Where
Then
lead
our
the way.
Yeah.
All right, could I get out of the vehicle?
Get out of the
You
vehicle.
promise me that? All right. And he starts to
I don't promise nothing to you.
and makes his way out of the vehicle.
Right now, you're alive on mercy.
Yeah, you're a real.
Sean, the more we raise his stress levels, the less he is able to comply.
Yeah.
I find that he is highly resistant to stress, and it seems to be a appropriate motivator for this individual.
All right. Well, it's this way. Starts to
Lead.
make his way towards. Yep.
Rue
Starts to
will
make his way towards
follow
the
it.
port.
With Edward and just kind of be like, is he for real? Can you hear his thoughts? Can you hear everyone's thoughts? Can you hear my thoughts? Can you hear what I'm thinking right now? I'll give you a hint. It's definitely cupcakes.
I'm gonna make you a cupcake. I don't know. If I want something hard enough, I feel like I can get it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. You're really
And
cool.
sometimes-
I mean, I knew that, but like,
I
You're
didn't
really
know that.
up.
I would
You
like to
couldn't
know, and
make
I
friends as easily as you do if you weren't really cool.
Aw.
Rue will circle back to Soul 2 on the hoverboard and offer them a hand again. See if they want to ride with her.
Yeah, they're gonna jump up on the hoverboard. So,
Okay.
and Soul is gonna look at Rue. Are you okay?
Hurting a bit, but totally fine. Not taking off this task at all.
So, after you got hurt, I felt something that was very strange in my interface. And I
Oh?
think it was the reason why I hurt Tiberius.
I mean, you did real good. I honestly probably would have hurt him if I had gotten back from that, but you were already on it.
Was it
You know-
anger?
Anger? It could be anger. Anger is a little bit like grrr. Did it feel like grrr?
Yes, I felt very grr.
Edward
I think
Edward's just gonna nudge through a little bit and go, well, if anybody can draw out anger, it's this one. And he keeps walking.
As you all leave, the vehicle, the wrecked vehicle, I think it is accompanied with an explosion from behind, as Edward finally lets that last second count. As the entire and Edward, you all look back in fright, but Edward has not looked back at the explosion yet.
Who guys to
so-
look at explosions?
Wow, I
Right.
recall wrong. I thought Sean was the actual hero of this show, and actually, it's Edward.
Plot twist.
Here's how very un-action hero he is. He says that out loud as he's walking away from me. Cool guys, so look at these.
And that's how everybody. That's how you probably all know that it's fine. Edward did it. It wasn't an attack. Edward was totally in control of it.
Initially, Sean didn't look back, but then as soon as Edward spoke up about cool guys don't look at explosions, Sean just goes,
What do you mean? Oh, damn it! Oh, you got me. Okay.
And he's
So you all
actually
make your
doing
way.
the
Oh, are we following what's his face on foot? I mean, is he on foot and we're all
Yeah,
on
he's on
hoverboards,
foot.
or-
His hands are in the air, and he's making his way inside the port now.
now,
You do.
I'm gonna.
You do see one or two security officers hold up their guns and go, "Boss, we got him." And he goes, "No, don't. It's not worth it anymore. They're dangerous. Fine." And then like these two guards look like they were going to attack, but then they lower their weapons in confusion, and then they look at each other, and then they leave the port with like this, we should probably ignore what's happening, as they sort of make their way out of the port. You all make your way into the hangar of the port. Hold on. You all make your way into the hangar of the port after the explosion.
Maintenance cars swerved around buzzing repair drones as you made your way through the docking bay. Though numerous ships lined the edges of this hangar, one in particular stood out. A large, vibrant crystal rising about 3 stories tall, with a snub nose that ended in a cockpit encased in distinctive tinted glass. Its architecture suggested a chaotic blend of gnomish engineering styles from across the galaxy. The ship's hull was a hollowed-out large crystal that had been severed from its home planet to now serve as the magnificent site for which you saw before you. The vessel's landing gear consisted of a series of large coils that would in hope cushion the vessel's weight for a soft landing. Nearing the ship, however, the center remote on your professor's keyring flashed blue, matching the lights on the wings.
Welcome back, Professor.
Said the friendly robotic voice from within the ship as the gangplank lowered to the ground.
All systems are ready to depart.
So you make your way toward a giant crystal standing about, it's very much like the crystal that Professor Orrin Telfo Gogglefogger held during his presentation. Thank you. During his presentation, he held up that strange violet crystal. Now this one represents a much larger version of that crystal, and it looks like it's been hollowed out, and there has been some technology, gnomish technology, tinkered into this crystal, almost as if the hull of this crystal itself, the whole of this ship itself, is in fact this crystal. Echoing from the gangplank as it lowers to the ground is that foreign voice.
Welcome back, Professor. Good to see you.
One big shiny.
I hope the presentation was well.
I go and hug it.
It was eventful.
Oh. This is odd.
You're beautiful.
What's
Hello, I am Cal. Short for Caliber. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Rue. Where is the professor?
We're gonna go meet him.
Oh, where is the professor gone?
Well, our good friend right here, Sir Helio Horus, is gonna tell us, and he's gonna help us get right to the professor and make sure that he's safe and sound.
Yeah. I could, if you just leave me here, I could just tell you where they went. and I won't have to worry
No.
about. Okay, all right.
You're coming with us.
All right. As he kind of makes his way onto the ship, are we going up on this here?
We are. We're going to go on this here death trap, and you're going to punch in the
Okay.
coordinates. And if we end up in a star or black hole, you will too.
Wait. May I suggest something?
I'm all ears.
I truly don't think Helios is of use to us anymore. So what I can do is listen to the location, take down the coordinates, and put it into the ship.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
My thinking is, you know, if we let him go and he doesn't get on the ship with us, he could lie. He could give us the coordinates to the middle of a black hole, coordinates to a sun, or some godforsaken corner of the verse. Now, if Heliohorus tags along, he'll be highly motivated to, you know, tell the truth and be completely honest. And
Ooh, wait, no, I could do that. I could do a thing. I cast Zone of Truth.
oh, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. How
I
far is the
cast Zone
radius of that?
I will tell you, it is 60 feet range, a
Sweet.
15-foot radius. So I can cast it around Helios specifically. It is a charisma saving throw.
I think I'm close enough to him where I'll roll as well.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'm right behind him, so
I got a 13.
17.
17.
Oh, that'll pass.
So
I'm not
I don't
that
have to.
strong yet.
I don't have to. So I could just ignore the zone of truth. There's no fail or pass mechanic.
On a failed because the creature can't speak a deliberate lie, but they also don't have to tell the pure, honest truth.
Okay. And on a success, I could ignore it.
I recognize who who passed and who failed. Yeah.
Okay.
And on top of when Rue suggests So the Truth, Edward would also say, now, I know this is going to sound crazy, but if Rue casts So the Truth, I can also go in his head and make sure he's not lying as well.
Ooh. Yeah, sure. I mean, people lie. Hey, Soul, remember how I told you that people lie?
Yes.
Well, if you can read his thoughts and determine whether or not he's telling the truth, we don't need him on this ship. But if we aren't 100% certain that he is telling the truth, I would be far more comfortable making sure that he's on the ship to go on the trip with us, wherever it may go.
Well, okay, this is gonna be like first real time trying to do exactly this. So, Wambo, Wombo, here's the combo, and he successfully cast it on purpose this time. So now, Helio will need a wisdom save.
Helio is on the gangplank at this point. Wisdom save. That's a 3.
Okay, so the save was 15, so I get to go into his deepest thoughts.
You recognize, Rue. One moment. You recognize that he is unfazed by your zone of truth. Did anybody else fail that save? I don't think so.
I failed the save.
Oh, you did. Okay. Edward also failed the save. You also hear.
What is the question?
As you now recognize in the inflection of the ship speaking Cal that they also failed. But back to Edward. Edward, you are peering into the mind. He rolled a 3.
Yeah, I have to shape his thoughts by asking questions. So, where is Gogglefogger? And like when he naturally goes to think about it, I'm in that thought.
Okay. So for everybody else, you hear,
I don't know. I was hoping you all knew.
but in the mind of Helios, you see it's dark in here. But out of the darkness, you see color for a moment, and that color turns into the image of was to be space, and then the imagery zooms past, if you were the camera, or zooms past you in this space, as it then goes right past an asteroid cluster. And as it does, it slows down for a moment, and then quickly the color within this image changes to a station. It changes to a spaceship. It changes to Nibelian. It changes to a planet you've never seen before. And then he comes back. He went back to Nibelian with Carmen.
Yeah, he's telling the truth. It's past the asteroid belt. Do you know the coordinates?
Yeah, I know the coordinates. And if you're still inside that space, as you ask that question, you see it goes for a moment, briefly. It snaps back to that asteroid cluster, and then it zooms in to an asteroid that much like Port Nomad, a hollowed out one that happens to have a porthole, a single porthole on one side, and that has opened, and a ship went inside, and then closed. And then he goes back to this other location, separate on another planet, where he starts to, yeah, I can get you there.
I am going to say, Cal, I need you to listen to everything that I'm saying in explicit detail. And as
Yes, I am listening.
I see everything in his mind, I am saying it out loud. Like, record. Make sure that you're recording this.
Okay.
It's explaining it all.
The closest asteroid cluster, besides the one we currently reside, would be the Magna Belt.
Hey, Cal, will you be my friend?
Oh, of course, I could be your friend, but why are you all still outside? Please come inside. Enjoy.
Yay! Rue will run,
Very
but
well. And also
take...
bring your guest. I would love to go find the professor, if that is what we are to do.
Yes, absolutely going to find Professor Blue Blue Blue.
Professor Oren Gogglefogger, yes.
Yes.
Professor Oren Talfo Gogglefogger, excuse me.
Yeah, Professor Turd.
Very well. I'll go ahead and start getting everything all initiated and set up. Here we go. Please hold on.
And I think maybe Sean, as you all start to embark, I think Sean, you aren't even up the gangplank yet before it starts to close in on you as you are like kind of pushed into the vessel.
Sorry about that.
Are we bringing Helio Horos in or no?
I think he was on the gangplank, so I feel like he was pushed inside.
Cal invited him.
And he didn't tell you coordinates. He said that he can bring you there.
Okay. All right.
I am admiring everything.
Yeah.
I just want to ask one last question. Do you have any intentions to hurt me or my friends?
I think for a moment, before he responds, you see in the darkness the imagery of that porthole on that side of that asteroid again, but same position. The camera's in the same place, but on the other side you see 3 fighters start to circle and patrol around the asteroid itself, and then maybe make its way and then look toward you as if you are looking at the pilots within the cockpits of these 3 fighters. They are looking at not Sir Helios's mind, not the camera, but they're looking at you, Edward, as they start to accelerate towards. And then as they get closer to you, you could see on the eyes of these pilots there is a look and intent to kill or to at least harm, and then the image goes away, and Horace says, no.
Thank you. Do we have anybody that's an experienced pilot? Because we're going to get into a dogfight.
Oh, I love animals.
Oh, good. I am one.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
hello. I am not. I am a crystal.
That's okay.
An injected personality. But it's good to see you. What kind of animal are you?
Cat.
Well, meow, my friend.
Meow.
Very well. I'm
love
detecting,
cat.
I'm detecting 5 life forms aboard. Is there someone who hasn't spoken yet?
6?
Yes. Wait.
They're
6?
talking to you. Oh no! Oh no! So he looks to Ruth.
Oh, I have a friend. And Rue will open the pocket and let the Thoril climb on her arms.
Okay,
You
so the
you
Thoril-
see like PTSD Sean, just like he's been on ships that have been shut down by these things. He is
he's like, no.
frozen.
Yeah. You do see the Thoril climbs up your shoulder, and it looks around, and as it does, it starts to drool at all of the beautiful, shiny electromagnetic waves that are just
Why
being
would
pumped
you-
and resonating through this entire ship itself.
You are not allowed to eat this. I'll feed you.
Could you? If you're gonna insist on that
I will feed
that
you.
thing to be in here, can you please put that in a cage? I do not trust it. I've been on
No,
trapped in the black.
no. You don't have to be in a cage, but you gotta behave yourself. I will get you things like batteries. You know how batteries are so munchy? Yeah. Yeah, big batteries, some wires. How do you feel about wires? Not as good as batteries. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Circuit boards? You know, hey, Cal, do you have any spare parts laying around, like electrical parts?
Oh, I do. I believe there is some scraps in that barrel over there by the workbench.
And you notice behind there is just
Thank you. Cal is our
a
friend too.
workbench that is shorter off of the ground, but also it sits lower to the ground, and also next to it there's just a whole bunch of cogs and broken wire and just devices and things that just happen to be gnawed on or cut. Someone has turned these things into scrap. It may have been intentional, or it could have been more Thorils, but either way, the Thoril does jump up in excitement and then runs down your side as it runs towards the barrel, and you see it just disappear into the scrap inside the barrel, and it
What
echoes
a
from within.
cutie. I'm going to name my Thoril Luna.
Oh, it's adorable. Oh, right. So I do have
This is me. Hello, I do have coordinates updated here.
and I think at this point you all see, in the Helios has made his way over to a pad and starts typing into a coordinate.
I'm getting coordinates uploaded towards the Magda Belt. Would we all like to go to the Magda Belt? It is an 8-hour journey, so please do get comfortable as we make our way.
Okay. Hey,
All right,
Cal, what
sounds
all
like
can
a
you
plan.
do?
What can I do? What do you mean? Did you go to the presentation?
Oh, I did go to the presentation. I wasn't
And
really
how was
listening.
it? Oh,
Well, it was good until the bar exploded.
all right. Well, I'm just gonna. Everyone, please hold on. We're just gonna take off here in a moment. Here we go, and the bar. Okay, excuse me. Here we go, and we are out of there. All right.
And you make your way into the black, or into the void. Probably a very comforting experience for you, Rue, as you are staring into the abyss once again. This is a great time for all of you to take a long rest. We are going to go ahead If you'd like to rest, you can, and lick your wounds for a moment. Take that long rest as you make your way towards the Magda Belt. But we could continue that scene.
So you said that the presentation, there was an explosion?
There was an explosion, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Well, it was a bummer because I had ordered little mini cupcakes, and then
Yes?
the bar exploded before I could get them. But
Oh.
I think that the professor was kind of having a hard time with the microphone, and people weren't really paying attention. I was not paying attention, but he said he had cool stuff, you know?
Oh, well,
And then
that does seem rather wonderful. But you did ask me what it is I can do, and you see, what is it to be a prototype? There is various samples of the crystal of which which the professor has used for the presentation, and really, his theory does come down to the fact that resonating dark matter within the void crystals that you see on the outside of black holes resonate very well with one of my nature, that being one that could generate and store arcane energies. So, in theory, and of course this is the professor's theory, I can't take all of the credit, but you can see that one would think that using a crystal of my magnitude and my size, I would be able to then resonate and pump out stored arcane energies from electromagnetic waves. Being, if we are to go into a dead magic zone, I would be able to be, the zone or the area of effect that you would be able to use magic within. Does that answer your
Al?
question?
You said a
Yes?
lot of big words, but it sounds real cool.
Well, I try my best to be very cool.
Hey, Cal, what are your pronouns?
What are my pronouns? No, well, I guess I would go she. She is my pronouns.
Cal,
Yes.
thanks for being our friend so quickly.
Well, I'm so happy to have guests aboard. It's usually just Professor, but I'm very happy to have multiple. I mean, I'm sorry about the size of the corridors.
And that's sort of when you notice that this was definitely carved out for a gnome. It is okay to travel through, but you do find yourself hunching to get through doorways and things like that. But Cal is very friendly and very excited
Rue
to
is pretty
have people
small,
on board
so
with her.
she's going through. She'll stop at every window to peer out into the void, but she's absolutely going through. She will go back to pick Luna up from the pile of mechanical and electrical things, and say, "You can have more later." Cal, this is Luna. Luna is my friend who is a Thwirl, and I named them Luna because my friend Soul is named Soul. So Luna and Soul.
Luna
I
and
made
Soul.
two new friends in
I
one
see.
day. Yeah, lots of new
I
friends
like that.
actually.
Yes, what a day it
It's
has
you
been.
too now.
And me as well. Yes,
Mhm.
this is wonderful. Well, welcome aboard, everyone. I'm sorry if you're trying to get some rest. I do see that some people are slipping into a REM cycle, and I will just go ahead and start. I will just keep everything.
Well,
You start to see as she starts to lower her voice, and the echoing through the chamber starts to lower a bit as she tries to whisper, but just lowers her decibels to 0.
Cal, I do need to discuss something with you.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I didn't. Oh, sorry. Hello. As she
Starts to sing back into life.
Yes. What is the question?
Yeah. Well, it's not a question, more of a... Well, there will be a question involved. Now, remember how Rue mentioned the bar exploding? Well,
Yeah.
in the confusion, our friend over here, and I point with my gun at Heliohoros, and I just go, now, our friend here thought it would be prudent to kidnap the professor and give him to some people. So, our friend here is taking us to the people that took the professor so that we can make sure that he stays safe. Now, I don't entirely trust this individual, considering the fact that he kidnapped the professor in the first place, so I was wondering if there's a nice, safe, secure place where he's not going to get out and cause any more trouble.
Yes, I believe there is. Well, there we have several places, but the living hazards within such a place could be very, very well not great for any sort of bio-life form. But there is also the, if you like the cryo freezer, you may have to take out some of the equipment that's in there.
How do you feel about being cryo-froze, Helios?
I would rather not be cryo-frozen. I could just stay right here. You could trust me.
Oh, so you would prefer not to be frozen, is what you're saying?
I would prefer not to be frozen, yes.
Oh, okay. I see. You know, we.
Look, how can I make this
arrange
right?
that.
All right, how can I make this right so I don't have to worry about your gun flipping around in my face all the time, or me even being cryogenically frozen inside of the whatever the hell they said it was?
The cryo freezer.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Cryo.
Well, let's see here. You could have not murdered the dwarf in the alley. You could have not kidnapped the professor. You could have not taken whatever payment you did to kidnap him. You could have not been a distraction to allow said individuals to get away. You could have fessed up to it when we confronted you in the first place. Oh man, you had so many opportunities to make this right, didn't you?
Did everybody take a long rest at this point?
Once Cal
I feel like this is
started
during the
winding
traveling.
down, Rue would have curled up with Luna and like literally kind of curled around Luna and said, "Nap time."
I think you nap, but Luna continues gnawing on a part or something that they
That's
found
fine,
inside.
so long as she munches with me.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so this is during that downtime. I do need whoever's at the helm, which probably isn't anyone because Cal has just taken off by herself, but
Near
she
the
does
end of the trip,
insist that
I'll take
someone
the helm.
is in the helm. Yeah, okay, great. And while you're there, I think also Helios is there as well, just to have the scene. And while you're at the front, I do need you to make a perception check as you're staring out the windshield.
That is a perception. There we go. 18.
18, you see 3 streaks of light coming from, getting brighter and brighter from the distance. And Cal goes,
We do seem to have a bit of company here. Hold on. Yes, 1 second.
All right. Helio Horus, here's your opportunity to make sure. Oh.
Caught the glint of the stars like an edge of a knife. A sudden burst of red fire seared from its engines and through the void of space. 3 streaks of arrow-shaped light became visible, streaking its way in the caliber's direction.
Good day, not to alarm all of you.
Cal's voice rung out as one of the front consoles in the cockpit began to beep.
But I think we might have company. And with that,
we're gonna go ahead and roll. I guess we'll roll initiative. Yeah, we're gonna do a very light starship combat here as these 3 ships come flying into view. I do need to know where your positions are. If you are shooting, who's piloting, who's in the engineering bay, and I think it's going to be those 3. If you're piloting, you're the one who can move around using dexterity as your piloting check to make sure things can work. Gunners can shoot down, of course. There are 2 guns on this vessel. One is an exploration telescope to do long-range scanning, and then there's 2 small guns on the vessel. So there's 2 turrets, and then there's the engineering, and then there's piloting, which is great. That's for all of you. So there's captains, and then there's there's no captains, not in this one. So 2 gunners, engineering, and piloting. As these ships come flying into view. When I find the music, it will get played.
I am awake as soon as Cal says so. I immediately check on Luna.
Okay.
She's
Yes,
still there.
exactly.
we have company.
Sean, what do you do in this moment as there are... let's roll initiative. Sorry, let's do that before we get into the narrative.
All right. I love having advantage on initiative, by the way. It's pretty great.
Nice. That is pretty cool.
I got a 21.
Jeez.
That is a
Okay,
20, not
21.
natural for Rue.
Okay, Sean. And that's all.
Soul got 6.
A 6 from Soul. Okay. And Edward.
21.
21?
Wow.
Okay, you're going right after Sean. Sean, you are up, my friend.
All right, so I'm in the pilot seat, or jumping into the pilot seat, and all right, Helio, you want a chance to make it right? Hop on one of those guns.
All right. He makes his way over to one of the guns. Begrudgingly. Is anybody else in the cockpit at this moment? Or is everybody out back resting? You are as well. Make a perception.
I was, no, never mind. It doesn't make sense because I was getting my long rest in, so no, he wouldn't be there.
Okay. You can make your way to the front when this starts to call out. That's a thing.
No,
is that
okay,
right?
then yeah,
Like- Exploring and then just curled up on the ground. So I don't know where I did that actually.
Okay, so yeah, probably over by that engineering bay where the Thwirl is chewing on that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Luna is still there, right? I can still see it.
Luna is still there. Sean, you are up.
All right, so considering there's 3 ships that just showed up out of nowhere, I'm gonna go ahead and use evasive maneuvers to increase the AC of this ship by my Dex mod. So that's gonna be a +4 to the AC.
Nice. Okay.
Also,
do
if
you
I
have to
need to
roll
make a
anything?
saving throw, I'll have advantage. No, this is just an action.
All right, Edward, you are up. Did you make that perception check as you make your way into the bridge?
well, I'll make it now. Okay, let's see, that's a 12 plus 2, so 14.
Helios has his pistol out, but you do not know what his intent is. Your turn.
Okay, so, yep, Eldritch Blast.
Okay, you're gonna Eldritch Blast Helios?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so much. Why we let him keep his gun? How'd that happen?
I assumed someone disarmed him.
He was being compliant the whole time. He went, all right.
Okay.
And then-
Okay, so that's the first one's gonna be a 17 to hit, and the first one's a 17 to hit, and the second one is a 22 to hit.
22 hits. The first one, he looks at you, and he notices that you see that he has his gun out. Like you look down and you looked up and did this double take, and that's when he kind of dodges out of the way as you raised up your hand and I think out of the Sean, I think from your view, you're looking out the windshield, but an Eldritch Blast shoots behind you and hits the glass in front of you and then diffuses into space.
Magic hands.
Yeah, and you look behind and Edward is there and he's firing too. And the second one does sink into Sir Helio.
The second
Can I
one
see
does
that he's got his blaster out?
Yes, it does how much?
15 damage and sends him flying 10 feet away from me in a straight line.
Okay. So you look back, Sean, and you see Sir Helios now crash into the chair that you are sitting in as he, still holding on to the pistol, but he now takes an Eldritch Blast to the chest. And in front of you still are these 3 ships. It is your turn, Sean.
First one's a warning. second one's because I'm
no, I'm
pissed.
sorry, Sean just
the
went.
third one will kill you.
I would like to say something real quick as a reaction.
Okay.
We've given this asshole enough chances. Take him out.
Hell yeah. Rue, you're up. It is your turn. You just heard a crackling energy of dark magic shoot from the bridge up ahead. And it's also now your turn.
Okay, so I'm like by the engineering bay. I am panicking actually, so I don't
Okay.
know.
What to
What
do?
do I do?
Well, you could try diverting some of the power. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm gonna need some little bit of assistance. What you could try to do is divert some of our power, and we need to overcharge this vessel so we can actually gain a lot of speed. And I can't do it in the current state we're in. So, just make your way over to the engineering panel. See
Okay.
the panel right there? Yes. Okay. Now I need you to now unlock it. Put your hand on the crystal. Okay. Now twist it. Okay. And that. Now slide it to your left. Okay. Now you've unlocked it.
And then as you do that, like a hollow panel flickers to life in front of you.
There you go. Now just divert the power.
And now it's much harder than you thought. You've done this like simple unlock thing, and then now, like I said, a holographic data console shoots up in front of you as she says,
Now just divert the power.
Cal, I don't know. And I'm gonna be very good
Okay.
at this.
Well. Okay. Now just I need you to take the triangle, and I need you to drag the pip towards engines as well as power. Yes, there you go. Right between. No, a little bit closer. All right.
now go ahead and make a intelligence technology check. With advantage,
that's-
because Cal's helping.
Okay, advantage is great. That is a 17.
Yeah, you're able to.
There you go. Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. And that would give us enough.
And you hear the whole, like a rumbling as the ship and like the G's and the gravity within the ship start to adjust, and you take a small step back to gain your footing as the ship does gain in speed. Sean, up front, you do see that the ships are now rocketing past you as you start to gain speed.
All right.
And it is now. It is now. So Rue just went, diverted some power so we can get some speed here. Now these dogs are gonna bark. Let's take a look at what they can do. I don't know where any of my pages are anymore.
At one point, Rue just kind of like looks down at Luna, whose head is sticking out of the pocket, to see if they know anything about electronics. Hey, just moral support. If you can't do anything else, moral support is great. Thanks.
Okay. These three of them fire, but they seem to all miss, which is just frustrating. So they fly at you. A barrage of three shots as they sail right past the windshield of your vessel. Soul, you are up.
How far away are these fighters?
They are just passing you now. They're probably, it's hard to say in space, they could be 50 feet, they could be 100 feet.
Okay. So I am going to ask Cal, hey,
Yes?
actually, no, Soul doesn't say hey. Wow, that was Bree. So, is there anything else that you would like me to assist with?
You could help fire defenses if you like. There is a gun on the dorsal as well as the ventral side.
Okay, does it have any specific interfaces that I need to know about?
Oh, I believe it's very simple. There's a couple of crystals you'll need to twist and slide, and then you'll see the interface open.
Okay. So Soul is gonna go over to the gun.
It's no mission design.
Okay.
Okay. So they're going to fire at the closest one, whichever one that is. And that is that a 15. Does that hit?
15 sadly does not hit. Wait, hold
Okay.
on. You fire, and it looks like to be an energy beam dots its way across the dash of the ship. As it was close, but it does not hit. I do need you, Sol, and Rue to make a perception check. Sir Helios is going to go. He drops his pistol finally and pulls out his energy sword and goes to swipe at you, Edward. Find his pages. Oh gosh. Does a 12 hit you?
Oh, sorry. No, it doesn't.
Okay, darn. All right, so he takes out his. What's your AC?
13.
Okay, 13. So he, I think he hits you, but like off of what are you wearing? Are you wearing any armor at all?
I'm wearing my bartender outfit.
Okay. So I think he goes to swipe, and with your hands out, you just like bat away the flat of his blade as it makes contact with the ground. As the energy sword now slices a small line into the laser cut gem surface that is the corridor. So it slices into the side there, but misses you entirely. Sol and Rue, you had perception checks?
Mm-hmm. I got a nat 20.
Wow,
20?
thank goodness. I got like a 9.
Okay, so with the nat 20, Sol, as you made your way and scurried your way up into the turret, you do notice that the Thorol has run off towards the center of the ship, where the resonating and the humming is the loudest. So it sort of and runs into the center of the ship. Back to the top of the order. Sean, it's your turn.
Well, I'm focused on making sure that we don't get shot out of the sky, so I guess I'm just going to keep trying to dogfight with these fellas and continue with my evasive maneuvers and
All right.
hope that Heliohoros can be dealt with by my compatriots.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and do some of that evasive maneuvering again?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So keeping the AC at 20, you continue to do and fly with your evasive maneuvers. Hell yes. Edward, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm in a fight, guys. All right, this is fine.
Make a piloting check.
You want me to
Sean.
make a piloting check?
Yes, please.
All right, so that is a 12 plus 10 for a 22.
Okay.
We seem to be just making our way into the asteroid field. Just up ahead is the Magda belt.
And you got a 22?
Yep.
Is that what you said? Yeah, you're fine. Awesome. The ships try to fly into you again, but you were able to roll the ship definitely out of the way. Edward, your turn. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, I'm in a fight. I'm panicking. I've never been in a fight before. Let's see. I just need to read something real quick. Yeah. You can also bring along. No, I can't force him to come with me if I do this. Shit. Okay. Yeah, it has to be a willing creature. Fuck. Okay. Eldritch Blast. So
Okay.
yeah, let's fire.
Eldritch Blast. When in doubt.
Okay, that's good. So that's going to be. So sorry, y'all. getting my life together. 18 plus 7, and then 12 plus 7.
18 plus 7 and 12 plus 7?
Yep.
So the first one was
the
25.
first one hits, and the second one does not.
God damn it! All right. That's going to be 13 damage. He gets knocked back another 10 feet, and I am going to
He's like on the ropes as he just like tries to get up, swipe at you and miss, and you push him back into the debris again, or into the chair again.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to move back as far as I can while still seeing him.
Okay.
So I don't know how
That
much
was-
space is on.
You do 13 just then?
Yeah, that was 13.
Okay.
So like he's like backpedaling as far back as he can get away from
Mhm.
Helios. Like, I'm okay. We're doing this. Like he's doing
Right.
okay, but he's fucking scared.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That was Rue, it's your turn. You can keep diverting the power if you like to keep moving at a steady pace, but also you do hear combat happening and eldritch blasts firing. You've heard 4 of them fire off now towards the bridge.
I look to my moral support to ask what I should do. Luna. Luna.
Gone.
Luna.
You
Oh, do
hear
you see
echoing
Luna?
down.
Luna, the Thrull. Yes, they are in the main engineering core. What are they doing there? Excuse
Luna,
me.
what are you doing?
Pardon me, Luna. Luna. Luna, please get out of there, Luna.
Oh.
You guys just hear. You guys just hear Eric go. Are you fucking kidding me?
What's going on back there?
Does Sean hear this?
Sean, yeah, everybody hears that. Everybody hears Cal trying to talk to Luna, the Thrull, over the entire system comms.
So
So, Sol, you also hear this in the turret.
with the exception of that brief moment where he saw Luna on the ship, like, you know, Sean's been a fairly, like, you know, cool customer. As soon as Cal said that, like, his face is now white. There's like sweat. It's like cold and clammy. Like he's clearly like having flashbacks to times where he's been trapped on ships that have shut down in the middle of space because of this very situation. And he's just trying to hold on right now.
Sean's only fear is Thorol's. Yeah, it's your turn. Go ahead.
I should just take off. I leave the electric panel and I'm just booking it after Luna.
Okay.
I have good smells. I am very good at smells. So I would
Is
like
there,
to
is
try.
there tracking or survival?
There is a survival, and I would like
Good.
to use one of my inspirations, please.
Yeah.
That's a natural 20, so I'm not. I don't need it.
Okay. So, what does this look like? What is like hunting mode look like for Rue as if we were experiencing it?
Oh gosh. Okay, so there's a moment she looks down at her pocket, looks up, talks to Cal, panics briefly, and then zooms, like sniffing as she's going, just zooming. Like you've seen her do before. She's on a mission and she's very like one track. She's got to get there as fast as she can. So she is pursuing Luna as fast as possible. And just so it's very like kind of close to the ground, just running.
Yeah, so you're sniffing the air, sniffing the ground. You start to feel this. You start to sniff that familiar scent of the Thorol as you kind of You kind of, I'm trying to sniff, but the microphone can't hear it. So but you you follow your nose for a moment, you sniff around, and you start to follow the trail. I think if we are watching inside the mind or behind the eyes of Rue, everything there's like the color and everything starts to brighten a bit as your irises grow in size, or your pupils grow in size, and let more light in as you are sniffing around looking for your prey. In this case,
These are like the few moments when Rue has perfect clarity. Every other time, she's just distracted by a million other things and has very low perception. But like when she is on a mission,
super
she is,
focused,
hyper focused.
So I think you sniff your way into the engineering bay, and you do see you look up and you sniff around and you see on top of this humming dark purple crystal, because the rest of this thing is like a pink, translucent, pearlish color, but inside there's this dark, like almost black purple crystal that's also resonating. But on top of it, and usually these crystals are insulated in machinery to keep them safe, but this one is exposed, maybe due to the technology and how the synergy of these two crystals react. But when you are in here, you notice on top of the crystal is Luna. As they look up to you and they notice, and their ears kind of go back because now they're looking at a predator, and they as like you are seeing this, and I think maybe we see an expression on your face as you melt into Rue again, not this like hunting Rue, but like a soft, happy Rue, as the Thwirl, Luna, looks up at you terrified, ears back, and it's like hunched over as if it's like really worried, and then it closes its eyes for a moment. And when it does, everyone experiences this. You are now floating in space, but you look at your hands and you don't see your hands. You still feel a ground below your feet. You do see these ships travel by, and then they come back around, and they're sort of like looking around the area, as you see, and then they just disappear in a squadron. Then they like disappear in formation into the darkness as the ship slowly starts to.
What happened? What? Oh. I don't wish to alarm anybody, but I'm not getting many signatures here.
And you do realize that you are much closer to an asteroid cluster now, as you make your way, and as these ships disappear into the darkness, everything flashes back, and Luna is still standing on the reactor. And it like holds up its little hands.
I'm so proud of you. You're so smart. You're smarter than I am.
Oh, it's a beautiful moment.
I don't wish to alarm you, but we are going at a pretty good clip. Thank you very much for diverting the power towards this asteroid belt. I'm going to need some help at the front. If anybody is anybody in the bridge? Hello? Hello, is this thing on? Hello, can you hear me?
You hear a tapping as if someone was.
I'm here.
Just 1 second. Unlimited power.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I think Helios is also terrified in this moment. So you can.
I'm here, Cal.
Yeah, Sean. How are you reacting to this whole thing, Sean? Are you crying?
Just the tears, sweat, pale. He doesn't know what's happening. The asteroid's now close, so I mean he's
you are barreling sort of
try
like
and
off of trajectory, barreling towards this, like slowly towards these asteroids here.
So I'm gonna commit a hard turn to try and basically flip a 180 and stop. Okay.
Before you do, I have a really cool asteroid complications table that was written by Don, and I would love to see what you would roll on it. I was going to roll, but I think it'd be great if you did, because you're the pilot and also you're Mage Hand Press. So this would be great.
So what am I
1d10.
rolling?
1d10.
1d10. Alrighty. That's a 5.
5. Okay. You barrel into what looks like to be a cluster. Some rocks bounce off the hull of the crystal, and you hear like a hard glass clang as these things hit. And you tumble through. Go ahead and make a piloting check.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty good. 28.
Yeah, that's really good. So easily done. As this thing barrels through a small cluster of asteroids, like a cloud of little ones, as they bounce off and then move infinitely into space as you kind of just swim through this end over end. But you're able to use the thrusters and the inertia dampeners to try to level the ship out as it tries to glide. And I'm going to need Edward. You are attacking Helios, right? I forgot that Helios is still around. Yeah. So take your action before he reacts, and then we'll go back to.
Here we go. Wow. Okay. 20 and a 18.
The 20. Excuse me. The 20 hits. The 18 does not.
No. So it's 18 plus 7. It's natural 20.
Both of those hit. Okay. So roll me critical damage, and then roll regular damage.
Okay.
Jeez.
9, 14, 19 for the critical.
Damage?
19 damage for the first critical, and he goes flying 10 feet, and 15 for the second one. Yeah, so he goes flying another 10 feet.
How could you explain how you defeat Sir Helio Horus, the dirty cop?
So yeah, he's been just like scooting backwards and firing as he's doing it. But after everything goes, like after he's floating, like he just gets on his feet, and Helios gets on his feet, and it's kind of like a quick draw moment, and like bang, like he just
he goes to grab for the gun, but the gun isn't there. He already dropped it. So like he's got his hand waving by an empty holster, and then I think he goes to draw maybe. And then that's when you do your critical, but he doesn't have a gun, so he goes. And then I think that's at that moment he like looks up at you eyes wide as you're like, yeah, and you do your.
And the blast goes from his eyes and just destroys him from the inside out. He collapses.
Okay, so your fingertips maybe like we've seen palms and hands full of Eldritch Blast this time, but I think at this point we see almost like tiny little projectiles of Eldritch Blast as you just like pelt him with all of this dark energy, kind of playing with him a little. And as you do see that he starts to he gets like this corruption. His eyes start to go black. His tongue starts to turn black as well as he then like falls to the ground and like starts to cough, choke, and start to vomit as well as just pass out due to just all of this necrotic, warlock, dark radiation that you're just pumping him full of.
And there's a second where Ed's like freaked out.
He's defeated.
He's never killed a dude. He's just like,
yeah. Well, you can knock him out if you wish.
no.
Or you can. Okay. Yeah. Or yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Awesome.
So he's freaked out. Then he kind of laughs a little bit, just a little, just like.
Not terrifying at all. Not terrifying. At this moment, Sean, I need you to roll. Actually, let's have Sol. Sol, you're outside watching this whole thing. You just went through a cloud of asteroids. I need you to roll a d10 for me. If it's a 5, re-roll it.
3.
Okay. You see right outside of your hull that there is an asteroid that is making its way right towards the turret. You could either shoot it and hope that it breaks. You could tell everybody, or you could tell everybody, or you can get out and run, or you can try to communicate to Sean to try to get. But you could try to divert the power where you are if you just like swap your hollow interface to engineering for a moment. These are all things that you can do. But this one of these boulders or one of these asteroids is just looming right into your direction.
I have an option outside of that if you're willing to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm willing.
Okay. So since we're like pretty close, to the asteroid, I think, oh gosh, considering how gravity works in space, hopefully this will
Right.
work. And as a DM, you can say no. But
Right. That would be boring.
I'm gonna telestep to the outside of the ship because I don't have to breathe. I don't require air. And I'm going to kind of brace myself against the front of it, and I'm gonna try to like move it to the side of this asteroid. You can say no.
So you're gonna try. You're gonna telestep outside, brace yourself on it, and then how are you going to move it?
Well, okay, not like this. I guess I shouldn't have said like this, but like
Okay.
I'm facing towards it, so maybe I can like try to like
Swim.
I don't know, like move my body this way.
Step with momentum.
Yeah, you could try that. You could I'm just trying to make it work. So maybe you dismount out of the turret and you charge down the corridor telestep using that momentum to push it.
Ooh, that works. Okay, yeah.
All right, I just want to help. I just want to help make it happen.
Are you about to show me?
That's thinking with portals.
Yeah,
It's the most awesome thing ever.
I got a nat 20.
Oh my, these are dice rolls today. Okay.
Let's go.
Amazing. So, do you want to explain it?
Yeah. So, like you said, Soul kind of beelines it in the middle of the ship, like right front and center. You just
charging as fast as they can. Yeah.
And they zap out into the front. And Sean, you actually just see me appear in front of your eyes. And you kind of just see me just push the ship so it can divert its direction out of the way of the asteroid. And I think I want to imagine that the ship gets close enough to where I kind of just kick a foot off of the asteroid so I can get a little bit more momentum, because I mean, not 20, so why not?
Sweet. Sean, from the windshield or from the bridge, or the cockpit, you do see this. But also, everybody, there is a shudder with the ship for a moment, as like a metallic clang happens as it hits the back of the ship, as the whole thing starts to scoot sideways for a moment, as Cal goes,
Oh, we just almost were hit by an asteroid. Well, that was lucky. Wow, what happened?
and I think at this point you all see, if you're looking at any of the screens or the cameras in the bridge for the exterior view, you do see Soul outside in this very pixelated feed as they are just like holding on to the back and just kicking out an asteroid as they teleport in, push the vessel with the momentum, hold on, and then kick the asteroid out, and then and teleport back in.
All right.
I am having an emotional moment with my swirl still because
Everything is so amazing.
I did not expect to cry, but I do look up to see Soul and get very confused for a second. My friends are so talented. And then I pet Luna on the head.
Edward is kind of fixating over the fallen Helios, kind of going through his stuff. And then, once he hears that metal, doom, like looks to see Soul doing their thing, it just goes, there's no way it was a coincidence we all met at that bar. There's no way. And then he is gonna keep looting the body of his first kill.
Now,
terrifying.
Edward, you might be feeling something. I imagine this is the first time you've killed someone. You might be
Perception
numb.
check. Edward, make a history check.
Okay. That's going to be a what did I get? A 17.
As you recall the events of your first kill, you look through the stained window in front of the bridge to notice that there is a very familiar-looking asteroid with the porthole extended open with a ship docking. You do see that through, as you were like looking and looting through everything, and you look up to see Soul do their thing on the outside, and you go back to looting. You look up, and then you have like this deja vu, and you look out the window, and you see that vision that Helios was showing you with his mind of the location of where it is. That portrays right in front of you. You see that one lone asteroid that spins in the right light, and you see a glint, and that glint focuses to turn into what looks like to be a closing door as a ship is making its way inside, and the door closes. Actually, the door stays open for a moment, but that is, you are at the location. You can feel it.
I believe this is where we're supposed to be, everyone. Did you say the professor was here?
Yes, that's where this one's like, and he just holds the body up. That's where this one's thoughts were telling me. Then he just drops it down again, and then like almost to nobody, he just says, "You're going to have to teach me how to see things on purpose. You do know that, right?"
You say this? Oh, you're saying it to yourself? He said in hopes of a voice to respond.
Very funny.
Come on, breaking the fourth wall.
That's the limit. That's where it happens. That's the limit that we have. Can't break the fourth wall. So yeah, that is what you see in front of you. Everybody else, Rue, you are in the core of the ship still, kind of reacting to Luna. Yeah, Luna and you are still embracing.
Cal, sounds like we should dock there, don't you think?
Yes, if you like, I could bring it in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but yeah, let's do that. That's where the professor. Yeah.
If no one could hear, Rue is in the core, and she said that I should take it in. Does anybody mind? It does look I have to act quickly. The door is closing.
And for those of you who are looking, the
Cal,
door is
take the wheel.
closed.
Very well, I'll try my best. I'm not very good at this, but I'll do what I can. I may need you to assist.
Cal can fly, not well. It's always best to have a pilot in the seat.
I'll do
All right,
it.
here I go.
Cal. No, Cal, I got it.
Okay, all right. Well, here you go. Relieving controls now.
And that is a 23.
23. Okay. All right. So
I assumed I would need to roll.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, you need to, because the door is closing. In the time that you make it there, it is. It doesn't look like you will. It's really the roll is very close. It doesn't look like you can make it. The door is closing, but it's really hard to judge size in space, especially things you've never seen before. Will this giant crystal fit into a closing bay door? And as you get closer, the door still is closing ever so much, and you lose sight of the door as you pass through, and you really hope that it doesn't scrape any of the bits or the bobs off of the vessel itself. But as you wait in anticipation, there is no sound, there is no shutter. You make it through. The light of the space and the nearby sun starts to dim when you've entered this port, or when you've entered the porthole, this door, this bay. Cal does chime in.
I do have some exterior lights if we are interested, but I am having a low lumen signature. Is anybody else having an issue trying to see?
Nope.
It's
It's
dark.
pretty dark.
I don't know if anybody has dark vision.
I do. I have void. I can see in the void.
All right, it is dark,
Okay.
but if you make your way to the front, you will be able to see.
All right, now,
Do that.
Okay.
Edward,
Yeah.
you may or may not be feeling something. You may be numb. You might be all torn up on the inside. I'm not sure.
I
This is
feel- I
presumably
feel
your first
right.
skill. All right,
well,
now-
I mean, this is the most personal one, and I must say that I kind of enjoyed it. I feel very dominant. I feel strong. I feel a little
All
confident.
right.
Just a touch, and this might be a little too much information, but if it is, I apologize, but just a touch horny. And check this out. And then he smiles, and you see his face shimmer, and he has the face of Helio. Now, that's
Well-
weird, right?
Well,
I
He
think
said on
part
the
of me-
coattails of his last
And
statement.
Soul is gonna
I,
interject. Soul's gonna interject really quick, and they're gonna say, "What does horny mean?"
Perfect. Great.
well, we don't have time for that lesson right now. And Edward,
Yeah.
you're sick, but that's all right. I like it.
This is the strongest I've ever felt. I feel like I can do anything I want, and I mean, you saw this guy. He looks tough. oh,
Well,
I'm gonna put on his armor.
we're gonna unpack this.
Yeah.
Hold off. We're gonna unpack this later. We've got things to deal with.
Okay. You can see him like chuckling a little madly when he's having a blast. He's like, "Oh man, I thought I was just this weak bartender, but I can shoot lightning out of my hands till a man dies. He's cooked from the inside out. That's great."
Isn't it great?
Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, have you seen any hollow vids about Peter Parker?
No,
I highly recommend it.
but I do hear this voice that tells me the future.
All right, that's
Said.
not problematic at all.
See, there it goes again. It's a real nice voice.
Rue, did you make your way into the cockpit?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So at this point, you're all kind of sailing through the darkness of space. Pitch black. You could kind of see each other through the glowing. The ship does have its own glow, and so you could all see, kind of like it's as light as it is like usually on a full moon. So you could see very low light inside the interior of the ship from the radiating energies from the crystal itself. But Rue feels that it like sees the darkness or the lighting change inside. And as you make your way to the cockpit, you notice that it is in fact dark, but you are able to just close your eyes for a moment, and blackness washes over your eyes, and you open them, and you could see faint edges of nearby debris and nearby surfaces as it twinkles as if they are clusters of stars, kind of alerting you to where things are. And that's what you are left with for the moment. And if anybody's looking at Rue, she currently has black pits for eyes.
She's just kind of absent-mindedly stroking Luna's head and like taking all of this in as quickly and registering it as possible.
You also notice, it doesn't take you long to notice that no one's controlling the ship. I mean, Sean is, but Sean also can't see anything, so it's kind of just
Yeah.
idly moving through space.
Cal, can we turn on the lights?
Yes, I can turn on the lights. Very well. Turning on lights. One moment. Hold. There we go. Lights are on.
And you see these lights out front beam across, and it looks like it's got like a purple or like a cyan hue as these lights just flicker on. And you could see an outline of several panels, and it looks like before the lights were turned on, Rue, you did see a cluster of these stars gathered in what looks like to be this long, oblong, bulbous monstrosity with like a razor edge off of the top of it with these large engines in the back up ahead. As the lights turn on, you all see the same sort of thing, this oblong space vessel with these huge jets out of the engine, and it's got like this barb on the front and this razor edged spine. It looks like it has landed with these like claws that have latched onto the side of the wall here.
Oh, is that where the professor is?
Maybe.
Most likely.
There's something up ahead as well.
And you all notice that there is a corridor near this, as you get closer to this oblong ship, the Vorga. As you get closer to the Vorga, there is a hole in a nearby wall of the asteroid that seems to be glinting like this bright green flickering that's happening ominously deep within, further down into the asteroid.
I'm just gonna pick up. I've got the armor on. I'm just picking up the blaster and the knife that he had as well. And you just see Edward in the corner, kind of practicing the voice. Helios. Helios.
I appreciate what you're trying to do, but armor can take some time to get adjusted to. Have you ever? How you feeling walking around in this? Out of character question.
Really,
are you proficient in the armor?
no, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Oh,
Excuse me.
It's heavy. It's heavy as shit. But if it'll help with the deception or ruse, then I think it might be worth it.
Fucking A, Edward is confident as fuck.
I appreciate the stratagem that you're trying to employ, but I'd rather you be at full fighting strength rather than walking around awkwardly in armor you don't know how to move around in.
I didn't ask you for your opinion. I can do this on my own.
Just start strapping up into Helios is right here.
He's kind of going power crazy right now.
Yeah,
He's just like.
Lou just kind of looks over at Sean and says, "Yeah, he's the action hero now."
I was supposed to be in work today.
I didn't get my vacation.
I'm supposed to be on vacation.
I didn't get my vacation, so now everybody's gonna get their ass kicked.
Oh God!
Ask for the cupcake.
Yeah. If we got cupcakes, this wouldn't have happened. Awesome. Okay. So I think you hear excuse me. You hear the whoosh and the whirring of the vessel itself as it makes nestling and it makes hold here on the surface next to the Vorga. The gangplank lowers.
We seem to be here. Do tell the professor that I miss him terribly. And I hope to see him back. Good luck.
Thanks, Cal.
We'll be retrieving him.
Very well.
I'll give her a hug.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edward, I do appreciate your newfound confidence, but let's not get our head too big. Come on.
Hey, let's go find Gogglefogger and go the fuck home.
You get magic
What I
hair.
just say?
Everything just gets magic.
Helios, a slightly shorter Helios struts out of the ship.
I can disguise myself up to a foot taller than I actually am.
Sir Helios walks out of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came here to kick ass at you both.
Are you right-handed or left-handed, Edward?
I'm left-handed. I can pour a drink with both, though.
Okay, well, can you fire a gun with both? Because I guess it doesn't matter. You can't have a left-handed sword or a right-handed pistol. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Darn.
Can I pick up a gun and just shoot my Eldritch Blast instead? That's the plan.
I love it. All right. So I assume you're all making it into this area.
I'm a double agent, and I work with the dirty cop, who's also my best friend. Dun 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 dun.
Such a
It's
half-baked
my friend
plan.
Soul. We met them today, but they're on board
I end up-
too.
How did I end up with this crew? All right, let's go.
You make your way inside, you following the trail of the green light. As you find your way getting closer to the source of this green hue, you also are hearing a whirring, a buzzing happening, reverberating a lot of the echoing through the halls here. Your ears also hear like your eardrums are. I mean, obviously they vibrate, but also your ear canal is like there's like a change in pressure as you're getting closer towards the source. The doorway here. There is no door. The doorway opens up to be this large room, and in the center of this room there is a small panel, a circular panel on the ground. Outside of this circular room, towards the edges, seem to be terminals of various sizes. It looks like it is a workspace for several people to operate out of. And the source of where all of these wires are connecting to would be this central panel. You do see two figures towards the central panel, one of them being Sir Talfo Gogglefogger, who seems to be nonchalantly looking around, and you also see a flight suit, like this dark, like caped flight suit with like this huge swoopy fedora with like a red trim with a white feather that fits very well with the flight suit. And as this feminine figure turns and looks at you, you see the dark hair and the beauty that is Carmen Kane, the woman who was laughing at the card game, playing cards with the dwarf, the one who left conveniently when the Thorol fell out of the panel. And she looks at all of you and she goes, "Oh, you've made it. Just a little too late, I think." And she kicks the panel and the thing starts to hum to life. I need you all to roll initiatives.
Oh shit!
I use my reaction to shoot her.
Okay.
I would like to on my initiative too, please.
You'd like to what?
As
Use your inspiration for the initiative?
I want to use the other one.
Yeah, use the other one.
Okay, yeah.
So that is a 24 to hit.
24 hits. What is your initiative?
Initiative. That is going to be. That's going to be 22.
Okay. And Soul?
18.
18. And Edward?
So I would like you to roll my initiative. I'm using my
You
it
to roll
happened
it.
like this ability.
Okay, I will roll this die, and then what do you want me to do with it now? Do you want me to tell you what it was?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go ahead and tell because it's just for initiative. So
Okay, it's going to be a 7.
all right, it still would
Okay.
have been better than what I got.
and Rue?
A
Did you roll again?
20 natural.
And then you got a 24 as... A 24 as well, Sean?
The 24 was to hit. The 22 was initiative.
Yeah, you hit. You hit Carmen Kane.
Was
And
it?
it beats her
did
armor
it
class by 5.
Alrighty, thank you. Ooh. So that's a triple 6, so 18.
18 total?
Yep.
Okay. You quick draw. You see as she kicks the gun, or she kicks the panel, and it starts to hum to word of life. You do see that there are like these There's rings on the outside set into this circular panel that are spinning in opposite directions, but they are not on those rings yet. Actually, yeah, they're standing on the rings, or they're standing on the circular panel while those rings are trying to gain in speed. While she kicks that, out comes a click from behind you or to the next to you, depending on where Sean is standing in regards and in relation to you. But a gun fires and catches the shoulder of Carmen Kane as she, you bastard! And as she takes 18 points of damage into her shoulder. She stumbles a bit, and her heeled space boots hit the one of the rings, and she kind of like, it throws her off balance, but she then regains her footing back on this device. Sir, or I'm sorry, I keep calling him Sir. He should be knighted. But Professor Oren does kind of hunker down in cowers and fear during this entire exchange. It is Sean, it's your turn again. How about that?
All right. So how far away is the professor?
They are 45 feet from you. 50. The room is 50 feet around, and they are in the center. There is the full. It's a giant circle-ish because it's natural, and it's this giant circle. The disc, this large disc that is the floor of this room, barely fits in it snug. The ceiling and walls are a giant natural dome of dark. It's dark because the only light is really coming from this device. But the ceiling and the walls of this are natural asteroid.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward 30 feet, and I'm going to use a risk dice to do a dodge roll, which will allow me to move an extra 15 feet while avoiding attacks of opportunity, and I can move through enemy spaces, and I'm going to get in between the professor and Carmen, and then I'm going to use my action to fire twice.
So you're moving 30 feet.
Yep.
They are right next to each other. Like they are, like she can put her hand on his head.
I would like to be in between them.
All right, so you want to move the 45 feet by moving 30 and then doing what?
So the gunslinger has a feature called deeds, and you can expend a resource called risk dice to do special actions, usually as a bonus action. In this case, it's a dodge roll, which allows me to move 15 feet without provoking attack of opportunities, ignoring difficult terrain, and being able to pass through spaces occupied by a hostile creature.
Okay. And then what would you like to do once you reach
then I would like to
position?
Then I'll use my action to shoot her twice.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is a 18 plus 7, 25, and the second one is a 7 plus 7, 14.
What was the first one? I'm sorry.
25.
They both. Yep, those both hit.
Okay, so one exceeds by 5 and the other does not.
Yes.
Okay. So first one does 6, 11, 12 damage. And then the second one does 8 damage.
Okay, so you squeeze your way between both of them and fire your pistol at the same time. I assume it's while you're running and charging you doing this, or are you running up fully and then firing right in point blank?
I'll have fired as I was running up.
Right. So as you're running up, you take these shots, and two of them sink into her shoulder, and then one in her stomach. As she kind of like she reels back, her feet hit the panel as she regains her footing on the outside of this device. But she does take a good chunk of damage there. Nice. Rue, it is now your turn.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yep, of course.
Professor, we got you. Just stay behind me, all right?
Okay, what is happening?
Rescue.
You are great security.
Rue, it is your turn.
Cal says hi. She misses you.
Oh, that's great. That is wonderful news at this moment in time.
Yeah, and as she's saying that, and she like yells that at the professor and lifts the like flap on her pocket that Luna is in, and then just kind of downward says next time, and takes this as she like lifts the pocket, she like pulls back into one fluid motion, and she's going to hurl another void javelin at Carmen.
Yes. Do it.
19 plus. What do I add? Hopefully that's enough.
19, it hits.
Yay. Okay, it's 19 plus something. Actually, I don't know if it's plus something. Dark matter rules. But I'm learning.
Oh, the wrong one.
On a hit, you deal force damage equal to your wisdom modifier, plus 1d12 per level. I mean, per proficiency bonus. Holy moly! Okay. Wisdom modifier is 2, so that's 24 plus 7 is 31.
31. Okay, and you've lifted your pockets at snack time?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard? Okay.
Yes.
Luna goes and then scampers out and towards the many computers in this room.
I was trying to be like very. The javelin was also supposed to be a distraction, so like it's very showy. It's the same like scrapping through the air. That black void stuff just appears in this like form, this long form of a weapon, and then launches forward. And I am so glad. That's it. That's all I do for my turn.
All right. Sorry, my internet died for a second.
Professor, snack time for Luna, and then throw a void javelin.
Okay. And then Luna left your pocket and ran off to go chew on some wires. And it's now Soul's turn. Soul, you up?
So, I am going to run. Actually, no, I'm not going to run. I'm going to do a sneak attack. Do my handy dandy telestep, and I'm going to get behind her while she is hella distracted. And I'm going to do some piercing damage with the dagger. So, does a 17 hit?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1d4 for the dagger and then 2d6 for the sneak attack. All right, that is 10 total of damage.
10 total. Okay. And okay, she is not looking good. So you stabbed her again with that knife?
I stabbed her in her shoulder.
Okay, so I think you may see one of her open wounds that shot through her shoulder, and I think from the other side, you just find that opening and you jab the knife in there and wrench it for 10 damage as you telestep behind her as she screams in pain. She is gonna try. Is there anything else you're gonna do, Saul?
I think that's the only thing I can do.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. You see at this point the green light that is radiating through this space she like, as she's screaming, her eyes roll back, and as she does, you do see that she is able to bend and shape the radiating light, the particles of light that are spraying erratically through this space and illuminating the area. She is able to focus into sheets with her mind. She then bends those sheets so they wrap around her as she casts Hard Light Frame, which does some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, the green. So now she has like, it looks like she has like this polyhedral armor, but it is it's comprised of this green light that she has solidified and sculpted into shape around her body as she now tries her best to cling to this moment. She's also going to take this moment, and I need you. Actually, no, yeah, she's going to do that. And then it is Edward's turn. And then before the top of the round.
So Edward is going to step confidently and go, all right, enough games. It's time for you to get the thunder. And like his eyes are going to crackle with energy, and there's going to be energy all around.
Helios, what are you doing?
And then he's going to jet his hands forward, and all that crackling energy is just going to go. It's like, wait, what? It's like, and then he realizes the armor is very heavy. He's like,
oh no. It was a bad idea. He was right.
Like, shit. You see him like quickly starting to undo buckles, and he goes, why did you tell me this was a bad idea? Why didn't you say anything?
You shouted into the void.
Well,
no, I'm talking to you.
Oh, not us.
You talking to us? Is he talking to anybody?
Says Oren.
What is he saying? Oh,
I just accept that he does things.
So yeah, he's going to like quickly drop and like take cover under something and spend the next 10 rounds taking his armor off.
What did I say, Edward?
I needed him to be hopeful that this was the best way.
The best way.
We are not heroes. We are accidental heroes. We don't know what we're doing.
That's right.
He's a bartender.
Accidental heroes. I love it. Hold on.
We came here to eat cupcakes, not solve a mystery and fight a lot of fights. But here we are, doing it anyway.
You just hear him like almost like whining in the fucking corner, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Shit. Why are there so many buckles? I can't get this one on my back.
I definitely screwed up all of these pages.
Too many buckles.
Hey, so you see, as the top of the round happens, you were unable to stop Carmen. The panel and starts to whir and hiss, this like high-pitched whistle, both droning of electrical energy and also arcane energy, as both it turns to a brightness that is so bright that it is hard for you to see without shielding your eyes. And with a vroom, the lights dissipate, your eyes adjust, and Carmen Kane and Oren Talfo Gogglefogger are nowhere to be seen.
Oh, she got
I'm
away
almost
with me.
out, guys.
Where?
Carmen's teleporter had drained all the energy from the asteroid base, Char marks rung the edge of the center platform, and while the fabricated atmosphere remained functional, most of the data terminals in the area have powered down.
All right, so back at it. You are now outside, or inside, excuse me, this place. The power is finally subsided, and the radiated energies with these rings slow down. And you look up ahead as you are teased by the outline sparkles and twilight like twinkles of the shape of both Orin and Carmen. You go to reach out, or at least Sean, since you are there, you go to reach out and grab them, and you reach nothing but sparkles. But also, Sean, you were on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah, I was standing literally in between the two.
So everybody else, you are teased by the outline of Carmen Kane, Oren Talfo Gogglefogger, and Sean Deckard, as those three are gone.
All right, so I finally got out of this thing. What I missed?
Wait, where's
Make
Luna?
your way back. Luna is
Okay, good.
gnawing on some wires on one of the terminals out back, or around the ring. And
Luna, it didn't work, but you did very good. You can bring whatever you want. Come back.
And it starts to grab, it starts to like stuff its face of wires and stuff. It's got these big puffy cheeks, but it's got like, it looks like instead of noodles coming out of its mouth, it's like drooling and dribbling wires as it makes its way over to you. You all make your way over onto the Caliber, whether or not celebrated or woed in otherwise, or somber in tone. You step up onto the Caliber.
Welcome back, everyone. Where is the professor? Where is the professor?
Well, I've got some bad news.
Oh?
We don't know. But
Oh.
in good news, you
Uh-huh.
said he was very happy to hear that you missed him. I told him
That's
first.
good. Well, I guess we must go find him. Also, I do have a message for the professor. If you could just go ahead and...
After your memory has played the events that have led you here, you are interrupted by a flashing, pulsing crystal. It seems as if there is a message. You stand tall, confident in your ability to answer a crystal, and you do so.
Oren Talfo Gogglefogger, this is Milo of the Nebelian Engineering Administration. We seem to have found a potential investor in your prototype. Please come to Nebelian at your earliest convenience.
The message stops, and you all stand staring, looking at each other, replaying what happened in your mind, replaying the events that led you here. You remember something happened. How did this all start?
You replayed the orientation holo video over and over again on your compad, recalling how strange and important it all seemed. You recalled how scared the messy gnome scientist in the video was as he stared through the window into space. His eyes were wide and tired. That gnome was Professor Oren Talfo Gogglefogger, an inventor who claimed to have the solution to the verse's biggest problem. Once more you recalled the contents of the video and its every little detail. Professor Oren fiddled with his rolled-up sleeves, lit a space cigarette, and began to turn directly at the holocam. He spoke with a hint of knowing sadness in his voice.
That's me, Spacers, and I am in a lot of trouble. It's not your fault this is happening, not entirely. Maybe you will save my life, I hope. No, now's not the time. Listen, you have to understand, the Talfo Matrix, my prototype, is going to change everything. We'll be able to travel into dead magic zones with dark matter ships. We'll be able to colonize and explore planets using magic. We will rewrite the interstellar boundaries. The thing about it is, change is terrifying. possibilities in the impossible. It brings out the best and the worst in people. You'll see what I mean soon enough.
And then the holo video ended with the professor putting out his half-smoked cigarette and reaching a shaking hand to turn off the camera.
We now sit in the cockpit, looking around at one another, and we recall the events, the holotape, what led us to this moment. And we recall how we all think it went. You now sit inside the cockpit of the Caliber, thinking where Sean could be, where Professor Oren Talfo Gogglefogger could be, and where the traitor Carmen Kane could be. The sky is yours, and you have a prototype ship of Gnomish technology. Nibelian also asked for you to return, but you also have a lost friend out in the black. But that is a story for another time, because tonight we will wrap our third and final act of Conspiracy in the Stars.
Well, if that ain't a goddamn cliffhanger.
No.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for taking part in playing with me, everyone. I really, really had a lot of fun with this one. We did do a Conspiracy in the Stars is a part of the Dark Matter set that you can see over on their Kickstarter. It's over 700% funded, which is amazing. We're not saying fund it because they need help. Fund it because you're going to miss out. All right. It is a really, really cool thing. Everybody's really enjoying it. We've had a lot of fun with it. You saw it today and the last 2 episodes prior to this one, how much fun we had with it. And you could pick it up yourself and also play through Conspiracy in the Stars with a completely different plot and arc. I did have to do a little bit of trimming, and there has been some adjustments made to make sure everything works in time. We did go over, but I think the story called for it. I hope you all had fun today. Thanks for being here with me. Let's go around and say hello and talk about how we felt of the adventure. Let's start with, I think I pressed the wrong button. I did. Hold on. There it is. Conspiracy in the Stars. And
Start with the logo.
we're back. Hey, there it is. All right. Noir, how did you feel? How you feeling, buddy?
I love this game. That was really, really fun. I've been wanting to play a character that gets corrupted really easily for a long time, and this was the perfect
awesome.
place to do it.
Yeah. Watching Edward in 3 episodes, 1 quest really, just starting to get starting to see and come out of his shell and see what his purpose is was super cool. And also seeing him go a little bit mad with power was also pretty cool. That was awesome.
Oh god, and I hope this episode serves as a reminder. It takes a minute to take off armor, and even longer if it's heavy armor. So just remember that, kids.
Before you do something for a bit, it's gonna take you 10 rounds.
It was worth it. He needed humble pie. Hi everybody, I'm Noir. You can find me on all the socials as the Noir Enigma. All of the socials, that is, except Instagram and SoundCloud. There you'll find me simply as Noir Enigma. I have another game here on the LFM network, Degrees of Madness. It's a Call of Cthulhu game. It's
hilarious.
It's going to be fantastic. There's a fantastic cast. Just look us up. We have a Twitter, Degrees of Madness, at Degrees of Madness, I believe is the handle. Also, you can find me
_madness
at Degrees_madness. See, this is why we have the boss with us at all times.
That's right. Hold on. Renee, what was that?
at Degrees_madness.
There
Awesome.
it is.
Thank you, Renee. Okay. So that was it was really, really great having you aboard and playing and seeing, like I said, seeing Edward come out was really cool. And also, it was really hard for me not to play into the in the weeds bartender, because I used to be a bartender in New York. I know what it's like to want to have
Chicago.
Oh golly, it is the worst, especially for like a corporate party, and you're like, well, this is gonna suck. Here we go. It's just, exactly. So I think you did great, and with character work and everything, a lot of fun. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you. And next we have Bree, who plays Soul. How you doing? How did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? It's okay if you didn't. Just lie to me.
Oh, it was god awful. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Well, you told the truth. Okay.
But I've never played a character that was innocent like Soul was. I mean, like, it's not like they were dumb or anything, but like they legitimately did not know about like cues in society. So that was very
interesting. Horny mean? Oh. Oh, here we go.
But yeah, it was definitely a change from what I usually do. And I really liked the whole cyborg thing. I've always had like a secret fascination for cyborgs and technology and things like that. So,
Matter dagger.
So yeah. Oh my god, that dagger! I wish it like went into other worlds too. But yeah, I don't know. This was just like a really cool side game from things that I've been playing thus far, and I really enjoyed myself. Like, really enjoyed myself. Yeah. But you can find me on Twitter. Yeah, thanks. You can find me on Twitter at Burrito_, and I'm doing a lot of TTRPG content stuff on there. I also have a merch line called Here to Stay, and whenever you buy merchandise, all of the proceeds go to creators of color in nerd communities. So the link to the shop is in my bio on Twitter. If you are interested, you can snoop around, see if you like anything.
Yeah, we'll get a link to it as well in chat.
Okay, sweet. And I also might be doing a giveaway soon, so like, be on the lookout.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, you killed it today. It was awesome. You kicked away an asteroid, and that was probably... Oh, hold on. Wait, Noir's showing something. There it is. Here to stay. Hey, with the Here to Stay branding. Nice.
Thank you.
Badass. Yeah, so also pick up yours. Thank you so much, Bree. It was awesome. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed a lot of the moments today. You teleporting onto the back of a speeding bike was super cool, with also like a universe famous, multiverse famous bounty hunter, and then stabbing him before crashing into a storefront was pretty cool, but not as cool as kicking away an asteroid. They tried. That was nuts. Yeah, they killed it. It was awesome. Thank you so much once again, Bree. Renee, you okay? Does that? Why does it keep doing that? Renee!
Hi! I'm back.
Hey there. Welcome back.
And I have a lot of feelings about this game. I think after sitting in a few moments of silence and like listening to the message and just tracing over everything in their thoughts, Rue turns to Soul and just asks how they feel. Because I have a lot of feelings, and I can't imagine where Soul is at right now. I can't imagine what the future holds for Sean. I can't imagine
where is Sean?
Where Rue and the crew go from here. But I literally did cry this episode. I'm very emotional, so that's not entirely surprising, but like also it just meant it was really good. It had a really huge impact on me, and I'm really glad that I got to be here to experience it. So I was so stressed. I wanted that void stuff to work really bad and show off some of my cool dark matter cleric stuff. And I also am love Luna. So that was all very good. So yeah, anyway, things have been amazing. I have been Renee. I will be Renee. I am always Renee. You can find me at that Twitter handle, which is super awesome. I do some stuff there. Sometimes it's selfies. Sometimes it's randomness. Sometimes it's, sushi discussions. I do talk a lot about gaming and writing because those are some of my passions. And I am the LFM community manager, so I plan to stick around. We are doing some really awesome things with esports, as well as tabletop role-playing games, and there's more to come in the future. So, hey, thanks for checking out LFM. Thanks for being here. Stick around and go check out Dark Matter by Mage Hand Press and their Kickstarter at bit.ly/darkmatterset.
That's right. Thank you so much, Renee. It was really awesome playing with you. I really enjoyed seeing like the happy-go-lucky, chaotic Rue, but also I think seeing the moments where like Rue's like the hunting and predator primal mode was really cool. Like tapping into that mode for moments was super cool. I really enjoyed the moment with Luna on the core. Before it all really worked well, because I was like, how do I move on with the story? But then it just worked out so well. Like, yeah, it was just amazing to see just you sniffing around and scaring him into it. It was just really awesome. So
I think there's a lot of depth to Rue that we unfortunately didn't get to see in 3 episodes, and a reason why she is so happy-go-lucky. We, if there's ever a future, if this is not the end, if Sean is still out there in the void somewhere, then there's more to explore.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, I'm like reeling about what the future could be with the crew, with Rue and the crew. Yeah, it is awesome. Thank you so much, Renee. And Mage Hand Press, Justin, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm gonna go ahead and fix your green screen here so we see your Twitter name. Talk about your product for a moment. Talk about how you enjoyed the game, and then talk about you.
Yeah. So 6 seasons in a movie, right?
6 seasons in a movie. Yep.
So this is Dark Matter, Conspiracy in the Stars. We're currently on Kickstarter for another 2-ish weeks, and we're doing pretty well. Currently, at the time of recording, we are over 700% funded. Starter box has it all: dice, DM screen, pre-made characters, a cool adventure, basic rules, some tokens, and some maps. The core book has even more stuff, 300 pages of sci-fi awesomeness, and I'm still like, my brain is just reeling after this ending. Where is Sean? Where is Gogglefogger? Where is Carmen Kane? And what happens next?
Yeah. What goes on? Like, there's a lot of like, because I was like, should I answer where they went? No. We'll see what happens, or we'll let everybody think about it. It was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the rootin' tootin' gunslinging Sean, and just, I don't understand how you rolled so many great rolls. You've got so many great, like, you've got all of the synergistic abilities. It's nuts. It was really cool. Really cool. I really enjoyed seeing Sean on this hunt the entire time as well. Just anti-Helio from the start, which was super cool. Super great.
Yeah, I just got so lucky on some rolls, and it allowed me to just kind of like, show off some really cool stuff. And with the anti-Helio from the start, that was a lucky insight roll too, where it's just like, all right, gotta watch him, because the flags are going off in my head. And it
was great, because he was a really good piece to have you chase throughout the series. But if you were like Carmen, then that would have been like a bit of a like a, I would have hung my head on that one, except like, oh well, I guess I have to figure out how to get, like, if you stopped Carmen from leaving, it would have been awful. But man, I really like spoilers. If you made it this far, you've probably already watched it. But it was tons of fun. Thank you so much for all of it. Thank you for letting us have this opportunity to tell the story. And I think I speak for everybody here when I say thank you, Justin, for letting us all come together and tell the story. And just thank you. And thank you for Dark Matter set. It's going to be super cool. I can't wait to see what people do in the Dark Matter setting and the Dark Matter rule set. We are LFM Network. Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for being a part of the story with us. Thank you, mods. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, chat. Thank you if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you if you're listening. Hello, everyone, all of you listeners out there. It's good to see you. Hear us. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Thank you for supporting us. And we'll see you all in the next one. Stick around. We may have something special in a moment.
If you're like me, you play 5e on the weekends. Roll dice with friends, order pizza, the whole 9 yards. But maybe recently you've gotten a bit tired of it. Swords, axes, and the medieval look are cool and all, but it gets a little blah, right? How many fighters and rogues can you really play? You need a change. You need some science fiction. Dark Matter is a sci-fi campaign setting for 5e that sits on top of the core rules, so you don't have to learn a new system. It mashes up influences from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Star Wars, and Doom, with fantasy staples, so you can find yourself running away from space wizards or axe-wielding barbarians as you tear apart androids and aliens. And now, we're proud to introduce the Dark Matter Starter Kit, a standalone box set that includes everything you need to get playing. So what's inside? For starters, a brand new adventure, Conspiracy in the Stars, which is a cool neo-noir sort of thing. It's got a big two-sided battle map and tokens from characters and monsters. A bunch of tokens. A DM screen. I mean, look at this thing. Do I really have to say more? A load of pre-generated characters using some awesome new classes and, last but not least, an easy-to-learn set of standalone rules, which means you can pick this up even if you've never even played D&D. Oh, and some dice. Go to magehandpress.com and back the Kickstarter today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, cupcakes.
Told you I
You're
cheated
right.
for you.
You were right. These are. I mean, it took a while, but we finally got them, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're like me, you play 5e on the weekends. Roll dice with friends, order pizza, the whole 9 yards. But maybe recently you've gotten a bit tired of it. Swords, axes, and the medieval look are cool and all, but it gets a little blah, right? How many fighters and rogues can you really play? You need a change. You need some science fiction. Dark Matter is a